We stood here with you in April when you first revealed the plans.
I said what?
In April, you showed us pictures of what you were going to do at the pool, and you said you had a guy who was going to do it in a week for about $1 million.
Well,
it's been 2 months and $16.5 million.
Okay, ready? Barack Hussein Obama, have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
He spent 2 years and over $100 million on trying to fix it. You know what happened to it? Never even opened.
Right.
He took the water from the river. You know about that, right? It turned out to be putrid, and it destroyed the whole thing. Spent over $100 million. Him and Biden together spent $147 million. You know what happened? Never opened. You don't mention that, right?
But
we spent about 10. Much of the money we spent are park workers. They're there whether they do this or not, as you know. They work in the park, and they're very good workers. They did a great job. So they were going to spend $300 to $400 million. You know that, and it was going to take 4 years. I spent about 6-7 weeks, and I spent probably in terms of outside, probably $10 million, around 10 million. They say 16, but a lot of that is workers that work for the same thing. So they were going to spend 400 million. I spent 10. They were going to spend 4 years. I spent 2 months, maybe less. And I have a better product. Now, I can't help it if somebody goes in with a knife and starts hacking it up. And we also have pictures of it. You know, we have
Can you
pictures.
release the photos?
At the right time you'll see it. You'll see it in court. You'll see it in court. But all you have to do is call the Parks Department. Call the Department of Interior, and I don't know if their lawyers will allow you to speak to them because you write fake news. But call the Interior Department, and I understand they've arrested 5.
Congressman Ted Lieu, I think, gets it right. Ted Lieu posted to Twitter, quote, "There is a 24/7 camera that shows the reflecting pool. If someone went into the pool and made a 250-foot gash, it would have been seen. Trump is lying again. Everyone knows it. But the people at the Justice Department are randomly going after people to soothe Trump's fragile ego." I think that that's absolutely right. And just go back to what Donald Trump said about the reflecting pool last month, which is even if you took a knife to it, which is what he now says happened, you wouldn't be able to damage it.
This will last for at least 50 years, and you'll never have a leak. It's very
Never.
strong. You couldn't, if you had a knife, I don't want to give anybody ideas. If you had a knife, you can't even cut it. So strong, so powerful. It's like powerful rubber. It is beautiful, sealed. And I looked at just one of the little pieces that they did to finish. It's like a piece of glass. Beautiful color, beautiful everything.
Yeah. So if you had a knife, Trump said, you wouldn't even be able to do anything. But that's exactly what he says happened. And we don't have the video of it. If multiple arrests have been made, we should be able to see the names of the people, the charges, show us the footage, show us all of it. So as usual, Trump boxes himself in by saying this thing is indestructible. And now he wants you to believe the pool was unbelievably strong because he did it. Trump would never do something weak. That's pathetic for beta males. So strong. And also, vandals destroyed it with a knife and some chemicals. And we can't tell you their names or what they've been charged with. And we definitely can't show you the surveillance footage. Anybody believing this crap? Now, the bigger story, it's not really the pool. It's this incessant need for Trump to turn every single setback into a conspiracy or an attack, rather than just admitting something may have gone wrong. You can apply it to just about any area of Trump's governance or lack thereof. And that's the theme. It's happening here. It's just a reflecting pool, but it's another corrupt, cronyistic, incompetent incident that Trump wrapped himself up in.
Charlie.
50 years, and this will last for at least 50 years, and you'll never have a leak. It's very strong. You couldn't, if you had a knife, I don't want to give anybody ideas. If you had a knife, you can't even cut it. So strong, so powerful. It's like powerful rubber.
Are the contractors who did the initial work with the reflecting pool, are they to blame for the current condition, or is it
No, we had vandalism. No, vandals. We have I think 290, 300-foot slit right through it. Probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind.
I'm not mad, please don't scroll. I've got a moral compass and a soul on today's tenacious, truth-filled Tuesday. Let's go through today's current events, and I'm going to list out things that are objectively fact over feelings. And if you appreciate my content, please visit direct.me/empathy tour, link in the bio, and you can support my content directly or get yourself some merch. I'm sure there's a design that you agree with. Facts number 1. More people have been arrested for suspicion of vandalizing the reflecting pool than anyone involved in the e-files.
Algae is obviously the news of the day, and it is completely ridiculous. It's unbelievable to see these people, these deranged leftists, in algae costumes with Team Algae on their backs. What does that even mean? Only the Democrats could hate beautifying our nation's capital and making it a symbol of pride again. But this is what the American people elected President Trump to do. He made this promise to them on the campaign trail that he was going.
This race, the first bill I'm filing as your U.S. Senator is a comprehensive anti-corruption agenda. Getting big money out of our politics by overturning Citizens United. Banning corporate PACs and super PACs so billionaires aren't making unlimited donations to our campaigns. Banning members of Congress from trading stocks and enriching themselves while they're in public office. We're also going to go after the kinds of corruption that don't involve money. We must pass term limits so people aren't making a career out of public service. We must overhaul the Supreme
time 80 years ago when a wannabe dictator vilified a targeted minority group. It ended up the world had to put 85 million Americans, and well, not Americans, human beings in their cold early graves. 85 million Americans, God help us if Trump gets anywhere near that number. Not for lack of trying. He is trying, that's for sure. So he would have no problem putting millions of Americans. I mean, he left the office. He slunk out of office despite trying to steal the election. In the first maladministration, he left the Oval Office through the back door because he's such a bitch. He's such a whiny little baby that he couldn't attend the inauguration because he's not man enough. But the last time he left 1 million Americans in their cold early graves. This time, we'll see. You know, with the screw worm and all the other polio, measles making a comeback, and now he wants to send Americans into harm's way in Iran to take over the island. Maybe they want to turn it into a new Epstein Island. He wants to send our soldiers into harm's way because it's not him in harm's way. It'll be American soldiers who he considers his place.
If you could click your fingers and Tucker Carlson is president instead of Donald Trump, would you do it?
I don't know. I don't think so, but it's kind of a toss-up. I'm not really sure.
Okay, last thing then. What do you think we're going to have first? Are we going to have a female president first or a gay president?
Oh, well, we don't know if we've already had a gay president.
Hey, that's true.
I think there are chances that maybe we have, but I don't know.
If you had to guess, what do you think we'll have first? Because a lot of people are like, we tried female candidates a couple times in a row. They didn't work out. So like Democrats are now a little bit hesitant about doing it again.
I mean, honestly, I think anything can happen. I don't really buy into the skepticism. A man has lost almost every presidential election as well. And so when it comes to women, you know, I think it's more about what we're actually fighting for, right? As opposed to the body that we're in. And so I think it's about not taking, you know, big money, fixing campaign finance reform and trying to fight for people and, you know, raise wages and help people make a living. And I think that if we have someone who fights for the right things and speaks to the right people, then, you know, maybe we can overcome the gender gap in that and be able to make history. But I think it's really important that we're able to talk in a way that, you know, really speaks to people's hearts.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I appreciate you.
of course.
Thank you. Bye.
Did you see it? Did you see it? Because I need you to pay attention because this is important. I'm going to play that same 3-second clip back to back 3 times. I need you to focus and tell me, did you see it? Before I tell you what it is, comment down below if you see it before I tell you. Right there. He stepped into the ring. That's Donald Trump at his big boy birthday party where he put a UFC ring on the front fucking lawn of the White House. Some trailer park trash bullshit. But that aside, he stepped into the ring after the match, the final match. I don't know. I didn't watch the bullshit. And then you saw right there at the 2-second mark of that video where he stumbled to the left. He lost his footing. Now, why am I stressing to you the fact that he stumbled to the left after just simply stepping over a small obstacle? It is because this was his 80th birthday party. His 80th birthday. This 80-year-old Nepo baby who was born with a silver spoon up his ass, who's peddling white supremacy and bigotry to get away with the dismantling of our democracy and constitution to form a private army called ICE that is currently actively detaining people without judicial warrants across the country and holding them hostage in for-profit prison systems. They are profiting off the torture of other human beings, and they are actively fucking dismantling democracy and creating fascism. That guy just stumbled to the left simply trying to walk into a ring because his health is so bad. His proprioception isn't even present because that's what happens as you get older and your health declines. His cankles are massive. He sees a doctor once a month. He will not even outlive the consequences of what we are allowing him to get away with. I need you to look what's happening in this country. We just lost a war in Iran, a war that we started for no reason because Israel wanted us to, and we lost so big. We lost human lives, we lost money, we lost everything. This was a national embarrassment for America. This guy is causing consequences to our country, to us, to our people, to our democracy that will outlive him. The consequences to us, to our children, to our country will outlive him. And my question to you as he stumbles into the ring after sleeping through the entire fucking embarrassment of a trailer park trash fight on the front lawn, how fucking long are we going to allow it?
Pleasure to meet you. We're going to go back to the prompts. I think that Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator. The reasons why I think this are some of them that I shared with the last guest. It's because I think that Donald Trump is a He had a civil court determine that he raped a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. We listened to that clip of Donald Trump bragging about engaging in sexual violence. Listen, I take a sexual predator to be somebody that is engaged in sexual violence. Donald Trump bragged about that when he said he'd barge into the dressing rooms of the women at Miss Teen USA and Miss USA. If Donald Trump's admission of guilt in that clip that I played to the last lady is true, and this is indeed something that Donald Trump has done, then by definition, Donald Trump would be a sexual predator, and thereby, by definition, I'd be right.
Can we both agree that people in power of elite elitist people up there in politics all have their own, maybe their own immoral traits to why they're running for candidacy. Like we've heard about Epstein files,
Yes.
about all these different people that, maybe they're not really here to make a change for us.
Yes.
Can we agree with that?
Yes.
I could care less about what Donald Trump says on the media, because I believe as long as he does his very best to be a good president and do the best for this economy, I don't vote for a president based off their character. I vote for them based off what they can get done. Honestly,
I would like to just take a moment. Let's look at what you said.
Okay.
Are you saying, Dean, it's true Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator, but I could care less because of his policy?
What I'm saying is,
can I just get a straight
we
answer?
obviously can't deny that maybe he has bad traits of his character. I'm not going to agree that, I don't know everything about Trump like you do.
Okay,
But
let's start
what
from
I
the
care
top.
about is his economy. I don't care about what he has to say on
Let's start from the top of this
the
debate.
news.
You sit down. I tell you Donald Trump is a sexual predator. I tell you he's a sexual predator because he raped a woman and boasted about sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants.
The reason why I'm not responding to your claim is 'cause I don't know much about what you see in the courthouse
let's just
and
test your
whatnot.
logic. What do you say, Dean, even if it was true Donald Trump was a sexual predator, because you don't know about the evidence for it, which is something you should look into on your own time, I would
Right.
still support him as president and could care less. Is that your position?
I would still support him as president because he does what's best for the economy and for the American dream.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to stop.
Every
We got to
person
pause
within
there.
that.
You've been voted out. We got to pause there.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Quote unquote, I would still support Donald Trump as president if he was a sexual predator. If he was a child rapist, they'd still support him. Also boasted about engaging in sexual violence by sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants at the beauty pageants that he owned by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies. And this isn't an allegation from some woman that you could defame and say just wants money or fame. No, this was an admittance of guilt, something that Donald Trump said he did on Howard Stern's radio show. And I see you shaking your head. I'll happily play you the clip if you want. We also
Yes,
see.
please show me the clip because I
What did you
do
do?
not believe it. Yes, take it out.
Don't worry, I got it preloaded.
Okay, good.
So you have done that. Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that everything is good. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Why don't we start there? Mike's yours.
Okay, well, he said that he probably sees them. It doesn't say they're naked there, so
It does.
They might have. No, it doesn't.
He said that they have no clothes on. When you have no clothes on,
No,
you're naked.
who said that they didn't have clothes on?
Donald Trump.
He didn't say that in the clip.
He did.
He didn't say that in the clip.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay, again, I want to hear
That's
it
fine.
again.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay?
There you go.
Oh well, it's a he didn't actually say clothes. But
yeah.
He said clothes.
I think it's important for us to be intelligent, rational people.
Okay, so
you're saying no clothes, and then Howard Stern says, "So you're like a doctor."
I definitely don't agree
Why did
with
Howard
that.
Stern
Okay,
say you're like
first
a
off,
doctor? Because doctors get to see people naked.
Okay, I don't agree with that. But men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me, I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually attracted to women than someone that is not. So I prefer someone that is a real man that actually loves the woman body. And I actually like looking at women too, and I'm not even a lesbian, but I think women's bodies are beautiful. It's like
Ma'am,
art
I'm
to
sorry.
me.
No,
It's art
I'm
to
sorry.
me.
This
Now,
is disgusting.
no.
Weeks ago, we woke up in a new America with a new system of justice where you and Trump could commit the same crime, tax fraud. You could be thrown in jail for it, and he can't even be investigated for it because of his deal with the IRS. And all of those things, when they are used to represent the claim, make America great again, absolutely do make MAGA a slur. It's embarrassing to be MAGA. I mean, get a grip, you guys. Get a grip. And I said a lot there. I'll let you to respond. But I have so much else to say. Like you were talking about like how we need to prevent Iran from getting nukes. We're at a worse place with Iran today than we were 10 years ago.
Not true.
Thanks to Donald Trump.
Not
Obama
true.
got us an agreement to prevent them from nuclearizing until 2030. Donald Trump tore it up because it has Obama's signature on it. And about the whole respect your elders thing. So you can't expect me to respect you because you're older than me. If you're going to turn around and call Biden a good American man with great domestic policy, one of the best presidents in modern American history, a crazy lunatic, evil man with a crackhead
he
son,
sold our
even though he's 30
country
years
to
your elder.
Ukraine. It's on record. He said, "I'm not going to get, you're not going to get the $1 million loan unless you stop this investigation into Burisma, which his son was a part of and had zero experience."
That's illegal. That's extortion. Why isn't he in jail?
So he should be. But
Why is it Trump throwing him in
because
jail?
the deep state have the judges. They have so much. They've infiltrated this country.
Donald Trump just hired 400 new judges that are loyalists to him. Why doesn't he use one of them to get Biden thrown in jail?
Because unfortunately, he doesn't get to pick which judge is used. And a lot of these judges are just evil.
Why doesn't he even try? He hasn't tried.
There's been so many lies coming from your mouth. I'm like twitching over there. Every lie
Why
that I
isn't the
hear.
DOJ
You
trying to get
said
an
people
indictment
died
against
on
Biden?
January 6th.
I said that they tried to kill cops.
No, they did not try to kill cops.
Yes, they
It
did.
was self-defense. They were being attacked. 4 patriots died that day, and you don't hear anything except for the one that got shot by the cop. Yeah.
How about this? Can I ask you a question?
There's 4 of them that died, and 0 cops died that day. 1 cop died the next day at 9:30 p.m. from a stroke.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. And I feel bad for people like you in your age because you're being indoctrinated with all this evil. You have no appreciation for life. You're willing to kill the most innocent and vulnerable. But if you were the baby in the womb, guess what? You wouldn't want to be aborted. You'd be like, Mommy, please save me, please.
I don't even know what to respond to. There was just it was a big mess. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and start off with this. I want to ask you some general questions about your political beliefs because I believe that you hold them without much information. Name one domestic policy that the Biden-Harris administration influenced to get passed through Congress, then signed into law that you don't like. Keep in mind, once again, policy is a bill passed through Congress and signed into law.
So I don't know that. I just know what he was saying.
How many amendments are there in the Constitution?
The fact.
How many amendments are there in the Constitution?
I don't know exact off the top
You don't know
of my
how many
head.
articles?
Okay, can I?
How about this?
Okay,
how many
again,
continents are there?
You know.
How many
information,
continents
and
are there?
I'll give you that.
How many continents are there?
Okay.
Ma'am, how many continents are there?
There's hundreds, but I can't
There's
remember.
7! The worst president of my life, the worst president of your life, and the worst president of the lives of every single person sitting in this circle. He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that has boasted about proving the naked bodies of beauty pageant contestants, depicted black people as monkeys on his Truth Social, and was sued in the 70s for refusing to rent to black people because he thought that they were quote-unquote poor. And there's about a billion other things I could say. There's not a single macroeconomic variable that is better off today under Trump than it was a year and a half ago under Biden. GDP growth is down. We see that unemployment is up. We saw 1.3 million layoffs. We see the highest increase in the price of gas in 1 month since the Vietnam War in 1967. Foreign policy is a disaster. He said he was going to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day 1. He didn't. He said he was going to bring us closer to our allies. Now they all hate us because we impose unconstitutional legal tariffs on them. He said he was going to be the president of no new wars. Then he started a new war of choice at Iran just to deflect away from the Epstein files. And this holistically is why I think that Donald Trump is a terrible president. Is the worst president of my life, the worst president of your life, and the worst president of the lives of every single person sitting in this circle. He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that has boasted about proving the naked bodies of beauty pageant contestants, depicted black people as monkeys on his Truth Social, and was sued in the 70s for refusing to rent to black people because he thought that they were quote-unquote poor. And there's about a billion other things I could say. There's not a single macroeconomic variable that is better off today under Trump than it was a year and a half ago under Biden. GDP growth is down. We see that unemployment is up. We saw 1.3 million layoffs. We see the highest increase in the price of gas in 1 month since the Vietnam War in 1967. Foreign policy is a disaster. He said he was going to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day 1. He didn't. He said he was going to bring us closer to our allies. Now they all hate us because we impose unconstitutional legal tariffs on them. He said he was going to be the president of no new wars. Then he started a new war of choice at Iran just to deflect away from the Epstein files.
Of course. Good to see you. Of course. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see ya? Pat, good to see ya? Okay, good to see ya. Acceptable for your kid's teacher, the mailman, the widow of your friend that was assassinated, your wife that you've had sex with at least 4 times. Good to see ya.
If you're new here, the entire point of our Instagram account is 1, to have more followers than JD Vance by the time he leaves office because he's a generally unlikable motherfucker and we can't stand him, and 2, to troll the shit out of him every single day. And, well,
you can see why.
for the trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Good morning. Good morning. I should just pantomime the whole show. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, it's on. Okay. I look a little fuzzy. I tried wiping the camera lens. I thought maybe it was the camera lens. It might just be the settings here. Let me just do some adjustments real quick. Let's see if I can figure this out. All right, I don't think it's I don't know. Oh, it looks worse, doesn't it? I think I made it worse. I think I might have made it worse. All right, then I guess we're just going to have to live with it. Anyhow, good morning. It is now 10:32 a.m. I'm only an hour and a half late. Like they say, I'd be late to my own funeral. 9:32. We're currently it's only 96 degrees. A lot of times we start, it's already over 100. Our daytime high, though, is going to be 110 freaking degrees out today. God, I hate this place when it's hot like this. And we're only in June, folks. We ain't seen nothing yet. We ain't seen nothing yet. We still got July and August to go through. And we're already 110 degrees. almost every day. Crazy. Enamore says, wow, that intro got me started, TJ. Mad Max says, better late than never, as they say. I Peopled yesterday says, WW, that just means we'll never again be trusted by our allies. Very sad. Very sad. It's very sad. Very interesting intro indeed. Just starting off with the reflecting pond. Donald Trump is a big ass liar. Obama and Biden didn't spend $147 million. They didn't put putrid water, seawater, or whatever the fuck he was saying. None of that was true. Not one fucking word of that was true. And then you got, I think it might have been an undercover guy. The lady scooped down. She just was like wanted to touch the water. It looked like she had her phone out, like she wanted to take pictures of it because this is what everyone's talking about. I don't even know. She might have been some foreigner, or anyone, and she just was like, "Wow, I'm going to take a picture of all this, of this algae they're talking about." And then some dude comes up and takes her off to the side, some plainclothes dude. And then they've got all these fucking National Guard and marshals just for one woman who was taking a picture of the algae. Come on, man. So stupid. And then, as was pointed out, more people have been arrested in connection or being accused of vandalizing the reflecting pond than have been arrested due to the Epstein files. That's not right. That's how screwed up we are. Hey man, I did some shopping and I got my coffee. I got my chock full of nuts. Good shit. I love it. I love this chock full of nuts. The thing with Dean Withers, those were very interesting. Those women that he was debating. Wow. Yeah, it just makes you shake your head, doesn't it? What are people thinking? What where they're getting their information from? It's a really interesting look at the other side, I think. Anyhow, I'm not able to scroll to the top. I think I saw Paul Burrows was first in the chat. I'm not able to scroll back up. Where I'm starting at is where Jolie says, hi, John Glad. So Jolie's here. Hello, Jolie. Good to see you. And apparently John Glad and Mad Mac are here because Jolie says hi to both of them, even though I already did read a Mad Mac posting. Anamore's here. Hello, Anamore. Good to see you. DPD says, I wonder if TJ had a long night. I didn't go to work last night, but I did have a long night, if you know what I mean. No. I don't know. I was just up watching TV till like almost 4 a.m. I don't know. I'm on a bad schedule. And then I started doing the intro clips and everything, and I just, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I should have just. I was thinking about, in order to change the time, I would have to completely take this one down, and there was already like 17 people in the chat. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep it. That's why I did interject there, and I did say I was sorry. I don't know if I've already passed that where I'm at now, but we'll find out, I guess. I'll find out. So yeah, I guess Anamore is asking DPD if they're across the pond. I do believe that DPD is in England. And Anamore says Wimbledon is coming up. I wish I could be there. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Go see Wimbledon. Isn't that in July? I don't know. Mad Mac, TJ needs a new iPad. Actually, what I would like to get is a new or a maybe a good used, um, like Apple, like a MacBook, I guess. I guess they call them. The kids are calling them MacBooks. I guess that's what Tim Apple is calling them. I don't know. Anymore, either that or a long intro. It was a long intro, and it was a long slog there, putting it together and everything. Brooklyn, is TJ's storage all cleared out now? Yes, it is. It is Brooklyn. Yes. Over the weekend, starting on Friday, if you didn't hear, I did talk about this, I think, on Saturday, but we'll talk again. On Friday, my daughter and my ex, the baby mama, they went to the storage unit in Lancaster, California, which is a couple 100 miles away from here. And they emptied it out for me. They had a place in Lancaster. They have a garage that they could use there, and they put everything in the garage. And then they came up in the middle of the night. They drove up, got here to Vegas at like 2 in the morning, I think. They got a room. They got a room over at Treasure Island. And then the next day, on Saturday afternoon, they came over to pick me up because they're going to take me out to dinner and stuff like that for Father's Day. Even though Saturday wasn't officially Father's Day, but the plan was, what they told me was that Jaylee, my daughter, has to get back, early Sunday and everything. So we'll just do Father's Day stuff on Saturday. But yeah, so they came to pick me up, and they did bring a few like totes and stuff of my stuff, like about 3 or 4 totes and a big bag of stuff, and stuff that she thought I might want. And it was basically a lot of my photos and a lot of home movies that I can't even play anymore. I don't have it because a lot of it I put it on DVD. A lot of them are on these little mini cassettes that I used to, from the camcorder that I used to have, which I don't have because someone stole the camcorder I've talked about my house being broken into in Rosemond. Well, when they broke in, that was over 12 years ago or whatever, 14 years ago. But they stole my camcorder. Fortunately, they didn't steal all the movies and stuff, because who wants that? They just wanted to grab stuff they could steal and, I guess, sell or whatever. Unfortunately, though, I believe in that camcorder was still a micro, or mini, not micro, but a mini cassette, tape, and that probably had a lot of family stuff on it, So they got that one, but all the rest are pretty much saved. But I can't even play them anymore, because the way I would play those is I was able to connect the camcorder to the TV, and then I could play those on the TV through that hookup. And as far as the DVDs, I did get a lot of stuff converted to DVD, but I don't have a DVD player anymore, so I can't even play them. But anyhow, I got that. I got boxes of photos, lots of old stuff. She brought up like stuff from when I was in elementary school. We're going to go through some of it today. I thought it'd be fun. And stuff from high school, stuff from college. Both college when I was a young college days person, and college when I was an older man. In my late and early 40s, I went back to college and took some classes and stuff. And that's when I became a journalist. Actually, when I was 37 years old, I think, at the time, right? And I took this journalism class. And then I got onto the school paper, and I became a writer, a staff writer, and I did a story on, because I went and actually I was a sports writer. I did mainly baseball and football, is what I mainly covered. But I went and covered an event out at Bakersfield. Is it University of Bakersfield or is it Bakersfield State University? Whatever it is, it's either a university or a state college. I forget now. Out in Bakersfield, which is about an hour and a half drive from Lancaster or Palmdale, a little over an hour. I went ahead and drove out there. Me and the ex at the time. Were we exes then? But no, we weren't exes then. We were together, of course, because we were having babies then at that time. My son was just born. I think she was pregnant with my son at that time. Actually, yeah, my son Johnny hadn't even been born yet. So anyhow, we drove out to Bakersfield to Cal State. I think it's Cal State Bakersfield. I don't know. I think it's in the Cal State system. Anyhow, we went out there. It's a nice campus, nice, for being Bakersfield. And Jocelyn Elders was doing a book tour. She was a guest speaker or holding what do you call it? Doing a speech there or whatever. And I went there and I watched it. And then afterwards, in a kind of a side area, they allowed the press to go in and ask questions. I had my little press badge. In fact, no, I didn't. It's in a box. I had a little press pass from the college, and I was able to go and actually do a little quick interview, or at least ask her a few questions. And so out of the questions I asked, and out of my notes from her I don't call it a lecture or a speech or whatever, but I wrote an article, and apparently a pretty damn good one, because every year the Journalism Association of Community Colleges in California, and I think Arizona is in there too, but they don't mention that. They hold these awards for all. I think it's like 50 or 60 community colleges, and they have they have best news story, best sports story, best entertainment story. They've got like best political cartoons. They have all these categories. My story won first place news story, which is considered like the most prestigious award. And our college that I went to, Antelope Valley College, had been in existence at that time, I think 70 years or something, and they had never won that before. So I won it, and I really shouldn't be talking about this now. I was going to do that later when I pull out the college box. Today we're going to look at the elementary school box. But anyhow, so I've got some elementary school stuff. I have the box next to me. I want to show you some stuff. But here's a cool thing that I found also in looking through my stuff. Here in Las Vegas, the Sands Hotel was one of the oldies. I think it was probably built in the early 60s. I don't think it was 50s. But anyhow, it was a very famous hotel. The Brat Pack stayed there and performed there, and that by the Rat Pack, not the Brad Pack, the Rat Pack, and that's Frank Sinatra and Joey Bishop and Dean Martin, I guess, and Sammy Davis Jr. and probably someone else probably. They would perform there, and we actually, when I was a kid, we stayed there a few times, and I loved it. It was like my favorite. It was very for its time. It was really kind of modern, and it was cool because it had this in the front. It had this probably like a 6 or 7 story round, circular hotel tower, and then they also had hotel rooms that went back. There were like 2 or 3 stories or whatever, but in the front had the big tower, and we actually stayed in the tower a couple times, and I just loved it as a kid. Well, in the 80s, they tore it down, mid or late 80s, I think, and then that's where they built where the Venetian is now in Palazzo. That's why coming off of strip right there at the Palazzo, that cross street is Sands Avenue, and it's named that because that's where the Sands was. Anyhow, I was going through my stuff and I found this. This is like a highlighter, and it is from the Sands Resort Hotel and Casino. Look at there. Can you see that? Oh, look, it's like kind of translucent. But there it is. My green screen thinks it's green. This is actually just yellow. But I thought that was cool. And it still works. This thing still works. Okay, what? This is a blank piece of paper, right? It's blank, or it's a blank card, whatever. And look at there. Look what I just wrote. Hi, everybody. So it works really good. And it's been sitting in a box for who knows how long. Decades. So I thought that was really cool. I found this Sands Hotel, and it's got the phone number on it. 1-800, what was it, 634-6901 if you want to make reservations at the Sands Hotel. It'd be funny if you call it. That'd be a good sort of Black Mirror or Twilight Zone. You know, like you called that number, which is probably 40 years old, and the place hasn't existed for almost 40 years or whatever. But if you called it, and it would be like, Sam's Hotel, may I help you? And you could actually book a room or whatever. That would be cool. So anyhow, that's that. But did I answer Brooklyn's question? So yeah, so they got it all cleared out. Yeah, they got the storage is cleared out. I'm out of there. No more of that headache. That headache is now gone away. Now I have other headaches, but the main other thing now is getting transpo. Okay, so let's see. But to just finish the story, okay, they cleared that out. We went to dinner. We went to Caesar's Palace. I did post the video. If you guys, I don't know if Brooklyn saw the video. I know a lot of you have seen it and you commented on it. So on Saturday, that video takes place over 2 days, basically. So the first part is us walking from Treasure Island over to Caesar's Palace. We had to go through Venetian a little bit because they've got the sidewalk closed off because of the construction of the new Hard Rock Hotel that's going in. So I took videos of that and everything. And then we went into Caesar's Palace and we had lunch, I guess you'd say, at the, I think it's pronounced Bacchanal buffet, which is supposed to be like the best buffet in Las Vegas. And I think it is. It was very nice. Great food. I forget how much it was. It was I think it was over $100 a person. I forget what she paid. My daughter paid for everything. She paid for the room, that they got. She paid for the food. She paid for everything. So it was her little treat, or a big treat. I'm sure she probably spent at least $1,000 altogether on the weekend. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Why there's more to the story here, but we absolutely loved. And I kind of felt bad, like spending over $100 or whatever. And I said I would just go back there for the tacos. The tacos were delicious. They were like so good, but I couldn't justify going back there and spending $140 or whatever it was just to get tacos. But the tacos were really good and the food was delicious. So we had that. And then, we hung out, we walked around a little bit. We went back to to Treasure Island, hung out there a little bit. Then they took me home. It was getting late. They took me home, and then the plan was they were going to pick me up the next morning or whatever, or they were going to check out at 11 and then come pick me up, and then we were going to go get something to eat, and then they were going to go home. So they come pick me up, after they checked out around 11:30 or whatever, or noon, and then we were going to go get something to eat. But as we were driving around and trying to get something to eat, they started getting really nervous about the time, and I'm like, why? What's the hurry, And then they said, we got you tickets to Wizard of Oz, and it starts at 2:00, And I was like, what? So they surprised me because they told me that they never told me we were going to Wizard of Oz. It was a complete surprise. They knew I wanted to go see the Wizard of Oz because I had talked about it, about wanting to see Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. And she goes, yeah, so we might have time, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to Wizard of Oz. So we went to the Wizard of Oz, and you can see that in the video. And it was so cool. I mean, the videos don't do it justice. If you watch the video, it really doesn't do it justice. It's so cool that I feel like going back and seeing it again. And I'm really not that kind of a person that goes back and sees movies, and usually I'll see it once in the theater, and then maybe a few times if it comes out on streaming or whatever. But this was so cool to see the Land of Oz and everything. It's like it just opens it up. It's like you feel like you're in it, and you can see there's so much depth. It's almost like it's like 3D, but it's not 3D where like everything comes at you. It's like 3D where everything is this field of depth, and you can see everything how it just kind of goes on and on and on. I don't know. It was really cool. If you have a chance, I highly recommend it. If you're ever in Vegas, I highly recommend that you go see it because it's really neat. It's really, really neat. If you can swing it, and it depends on what. Like we got, I guess the cheap seats. We were up really high, but it was still good. It was still great. And our seats, I guess, were like a little over 100 or whatever. So depending on the day and depending on what seat you get, you could spend, $110. You could spend, if you get a little bit better seats, 180, 190, 200. Down at the bottom, I guess it's 300 or whatever. I don't know. But so there's different prices, and the day of the week does happen. And this was Sunday on Father's Day, and I think we got pretty good. I think she got a pretty good price on the tickets. So yeah, my daughter paid for all that. Really awesome. It was a really great day, and it was just great spending time with my daughter. And fortunately, me and my ex get along, so it was fine. Spending time with my ex. It would have been nice if my son could have come up. That would have been like made it even better, but he wasn't able to make it. Him and his wife had stuff to do, or I mean I don't mean like I didn't mean it like that. Like, oh, they got stuff to do, but they had other plans and stuff. And we'll get together, we'll get together soon, me and my son. So yeah, the only thing is the only thing that would have made it better is if my son could have been there. But it was awesome. It was an awesome weekend, an awesome day. And thanks to my daughter, it was awesome. And my ex, who helped out so much with the moving all that stuff out and everything. And is gracious enough to let me use her garage to store that stuff, the rest of the stuff. And when Jaylee came over here, because she's never been, I thought she had been here, but she's never been to this apartment. And we were talking about it before, because we were talking about bringing everything up here and just stuffing it into the apartment. And she said, that plan would not have worked. It would not have fit in this apartment. That's how much there was. So anyhow, that was the weekend. And then I spent basically, was it yesterday? I guess part of, because then they left. They took me home after the Wizard of Oz, and then they headed home. It was kind of in the late afternoon when they left. So then I was here. So I guess I started going through my boxes. I had, like I said, I got 3 or 4 of these boxes or totes and stuff, and I started going through that stuff. Sunday, and then yesterday I was going through it. I was going through it all day yesterday and Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. And because there's stuff in here that I haven't seen, that I haven't looked at in decades, like these things I'm going to show you. I don't know. You guys might not think it's interesting, but I think it's interesting. But I'll show you this in a minute. Let me just look at the chat. Josh says, I played the Wizard of Oz musical like 40 times a couple years ago. Let me tell you something, Josh. If you're ever in Vegas, I really highly suggest you come and see it at the Sphere. I think it'll blow you away. Now, and you might want to do it before the year is out, because I know that they announced that the next movie is going to be the Rocky Horror Picture Show sometime in 2027. I don't know what the date is, and I guess they only do one movie at a time. So I think when Rocky Horror Picture Show comes, I think Wizard of Oz is going to be going away. Now they might bring that back, because I thought I heard them say that they were going to put back some of the minutes, because they said they took out like 20 minutes out of the Wizard of Oz, which you don't even really notice it. They did it so well that they must have just clipped out little bits here, little tiny pieces here, little pieces here, and it added up to 20 minutes. But you don't even really notice it. But so I don't even think they need to bring anything back. But I heard they were going to eventually bring Wizard of Oz back by putting 10 minutes of it back in, 10 of the 20 that they took out. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I haven't heard that in a while, so maybe that's not true, or maybe I don't know if they're going to do that or not. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's good the way it is. But anyhow, sometime in 2027, I don't have the date, but they're going to start Rocky Horror Picture Show. And my first reaction to that was like, really? Rocky Horror Picture Show? I mean, that was a fun movie. I did the midnight movies. A lot of people have done that. Like I did that back in my 20s, and not all the time, but I did it like 3 or 4 times, I think. And I did it in my late 20s with my then wife. We did that. We went and saw it. And yeah, it's fun. It's a fun thing. People cosplay it. They dress up like the characters. We didn't do that. I never did that, but some of the real devotees of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, they will dress up in the characters, and then they know all the lines you're supposed to repeat back, and they've got toast, and when they say something about toast, and they throw the toast, they do all that. And I'm imagining, so I mean, in order for this to be a fun experience, they're going to have to allow for all that. They're going to have to allow people to come in, which people dress in. I've seen some people go to No Doubt concerts or the Dead Company or anything, kind of dressed up, in a certain ways or whatever. So I'm sure there wouldn't be any problem with people dressing up like the characters. But what about the throwing of the toast and all that kind of stuff? They're going to have to do something. They're going to and coming up on the stage and doing the time warp and all that stuff. If it's going to be a fully fun experience, they're going to have to allow for that. So I imagine they would. I don't know. Now, as far as getting up and dancing the time warp where we sat, up where we were sitting, I would not stand up and dance the time warp because it's very steep. Maybe the middle sections aren't so bad. I suppose down on the floor, that's where they could do it and people could go up on the stage or whatever. But if you're sitting up in the 400 section, I do not recommend doing the time warp because you just might time warp yourself down down to the stage, but and break your neck in the process. So, anyhow, if you want to see The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, I would suggest you do that as soon as possible, because sometime, I don't know when the date is in 2027, but sometime in 2027 they're changing out the movie. You know. All right, I'm just skipping down. There's Paul Burrows. Somebody tell TJ to get off the babysitter. What the fuck was that? That doesn't even make any sense. It would make sense if I had a kid that needed a babysitter. Anyhow, whatever. Just scrolling down. Aaron is here. I believe Aaron is here, and I believe Jolie is still here. Are we? Are we? Could it be? Are we? I don't know. Aaron might have had to go take a phone call, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we are at. You know, I'm not sure if we're at full mug capacity, because I've been because these chats are, I'm knowing these are like from an hour ago, so I am skipping down. Deepa D says, wonder why she came out of retirement and her husband was on the dialogue list. Talking about Serena Williams. She came out of retirement, huh? Wow. I do see Aaron and Jolie in the chat, but this is like I said, this is probably like an hour ago. Yeah, because here I'm just coming to where I apologize for being late. So I'm not sure if we're at full amount capacity, because this is like an hour, at least an hour ago. I people yesterday says hello, everybody. Hello, I people yesterday. I'm kind of skip down a little bit. Christina Weibel's here. Hello, Christina. Good to see you. Christina Weibel says the G in MAGA means gay. Make America gay again. All right, I am skipping down, and I'm just going to needle drop. But if I skipped you, I apologize. I see Wes Webb's here, or WW. I'm sorry. I don't know who this Wes Webb. WW is here. Hello, WW. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Let's see. I'm skipping down and needle dropping. Anwar says, that is so sad to think that these corporate parasites are taking the taxpayers' dollars for his vanity project. Sad. Sad. Mad Max here. Hello, Mad Max. Good to see you. PDG 200 LBFB says, dumbest ass on the planet. I hope you're talking about Trump. I don't know, not me. Or maybe that was the Dean Withers, but maybe one of the women there, that one blonde lady, maybe. You know, maybe that's who you were talking about. Mad Max says they are giving a trillionaire 720 acres of a protected wildlife area so he can make SpaceX shit. They are horrible shitheads to America, only giving their billionaire buddies all the benefit. Nick Rich is here. Hey, Nick Rich, good to see you, man. Hopefully you're still here. I don't know, but I have not seen you in ages, man. Where you been? Where you been keeping yourself? Thanks for coming in, Nick. I appreciate you. DPD says, that's what gets me is people who look like me who support this bullshit. I guess that bitch does not understand that she is the hunted and not the fucking hunter. What the fuck up or something? I don't know. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. Yeah, it's a head scratcher and head shaker and all kinds of things like that. Nick Rich 10:30. So now I'm 37 minutes. I've been skipping down and needle dropping. I am 37 minutes behind. Still a little washed out looking. Yeah, I can't dial it in, man. I think this is the best I can get it. I think this is the best I can get it. Maybe whenever I wear this orange shirt, it kind of throws things off. So maybe I should stop wearing the orange shirt. But this is my. I don't know if you can see it. my Apple Valley Sun Devils reunion shirt, high school reunion shirt from a few years ago. I bought 3 of them, and I didn't even go to the reunion. And now I wish I had. And the only reason I didn't go is because I didn't feel like, because they said there was a dress code, and you had to wear a tie, and you had to wear church shoes. No, I don't know, dress shoes or whatever. I don't know. And then I saw pictures from the event, and all these dudes were wearing t-shirts and jeans and shit. And I was like, "Fuck! If I would have known that, then I would have went." WW says no. No yesterday person. There will always be a new teabag caucus to replace MAGA. That's why we must always be vigilant. We must always tend the garden, as they say. Yeah, it's never ending, but it's better to keep a constant tending of the garden than it is to just stop doing that and then letting all the weeds grow over, and then you have lots of extra work. Mr. Bob Newell's here. Hello, Mr. Bob Newell. Hope you can hear me. Josh C said I missed the beginning. Mad Max says it was truly refreshing to see the Scots having fun in Boston, and it made me realize that the world isn't fucked up and stupid as fuck. It is the way the USA is being molested by jackasses in the White House. Mr. Bob Newell, the coffee is delish. It's got my chock full of nuts. I highly recommend it. Next time you go shopping, if you see a can of chock full of nuts, pick yourself up some. It's pretty good coffee if you like coffee, if you're a coffee drinker. All right, skipping down, needle dropping. Aaron West says, cool artifact. Yes, thank you. Sands Hotel. That doesn't even exist anymore. It hasn't existed for like 40 years. All right, skipping down, needle dropping. Yes, yeah, so Erin says she has a phone call. And this is probably a half an hour ago. IB YouTubing says, now I have another reason to go to Las Vegas. I am sure my daughter will enjoy. Oh, yes, go see it. Go see it. I mean, I don't know if they do bring it back. Let's say sometime in 2027 it ends. They might bring it back, but it might not be for another couple years. They might do the Rocky Horror Picture Show for a couple years, you know. Especially if it's a success. My first reaction was, "God, that's going to suck, though," and no one's going to go see that. But I don't know. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of fans of that movie, and if they do it right, it could be very very fun. So anyhow, yeah, go see it. You could probably Google the date, like when they're planning on ending it and starting the other one. I just don't know. I just remember there was sometime in 2027 that Rocky Horror Picture Show is coming to the Sphere, and I think that means Wizard of Oz is leaving, but maybe not. Maybe they could do. I don't really see why they couldn't do both and just run one on certain days and the other on other days. But then there is a lot of things that goes on with all of the all the interaction and stuff that they have. There is a lot of stuff. So maybe they can only do one movie at a time. I don't know. Because they used to have Postcards from Earth, which I never did see, but they used to have all these exhibits, sort of like scientific things or whatever, and they used to have these AI robots that you could talk to, and none of that's there now. With when they took that movie out, they took all that other stuff out. So. Okay, it looks like I have pretty much caught up. DPD's back. I guess DPD went somewhere. I scrolled down DPD, so I didn't know you had left. Bob LeBlanc says Haunted. I don't know what that's in reference to. Blah, blah, blah. I think listening. I skipped down. I am listening, but I had to skip down a lot. Blah, blah, blah says, clip the fuzz in the garden, oh my. DBD says, TJ, did I detect a spark between you and your baby mama? No. We're just friends. DBD, am I the only adult afraid of the Wizard of Oz? I don't know. Are you? Who else is afraid of the Wizard of Oz? DBD can't be the only one. Come on. Anyone else in the chat that's afraid still after all these years as an adult that are you afraid of the Wizard of Oz? If you guys haven't seen the video I posted, I highly recommend it. Because I did a lot of stuff of the Wizard of Oz. I don't know. Like I said, it really doesn't do it justice though. But if you want to check it out, check out my video. It's just titled I think my Father's Day or something like that. I don't even remember. All right, let's get into and one of the reasons why I titled today's "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" is because I found these notes that I made when I was like 11 and 12 years old, all the way up to like, I guess 14 or something, of every baseball game that I played. I would make a little, just like a paragraph or a few sentences, but I read them the other day and I found it to be fascinating. I was like, oh my God, because I haven't read these in 50 years probably or whatever, since whenever I made them. I haven't read these. I sat down and read them and I was just like, oh, this is, so you guys are probably going to hate this. You're probably going to think it sucks. I don't know. But let me just tell you, well, before we do that, because I have to, okay, we're not doing baseball yet. Just we'll look at some other stuff. Here's what's in the box. Now, this is after high school, but I just stuck it in the box. Here's some stuff I found. Here's a newspaper article from when John Lennon was assassinated or killed, murdered. So that's in there. Look at that. This special tribute to John Lennon is sponsored by University Stereo in cooperation with staff at the Los Angeles Herald Examiner. So this this whole thing is several pages, is just a tribute to John Lennon. And it's got everything in here, but a bunch of stuff. It's Sullivan Show. It's got when they were, before they were the Beatles and they were dressed up like in leather and shit. The Ballad of John and Yoko. So anyhow, there's that. So let me make a space. I'm gonna have to set this stuff over here. I'm trying to get down to the baseball stuff. I didn't title. Oh shit! My pen fell. My Sans pen fell down between the bed and the wall. I'll have to get that later. I did not title today's show, like John Lennon. Anyhow, let me just set that there. So that's some of the stuff that I found. Right? Speaking of the Beatles, now I used to have a bunch of 45s, and I found the sleeve, like a little sleeve that a 45 would go into, but the 45 is not in there. Almost all my records, my LPs, CDs got stolen. I don't know where the 45 is for this, and I don't remember this song. But anyhow, I got this. Here's this. It's just the sleeve. It's Ringo Starr. Rack My Brain, I guess was the name of the song. I don't even remember it. I'm trying to see if there's a date on this. I don't know. I'm sure there is in really tiny writing. So there, yeah, I found that. So that was in there. Here, so I'm kind of doing an unboxing for you guys of some of the stuff. Here is just a Sports Illustrated. Now, I used to have, before I moved into that storage, my stuff into storage, I had boxes and boxes and boxes, big boxes and boxes, probably like 30 or 40 years of Sports Illustrated magazines that I had kept because I subscribed to Sports Illustrated for decades. And I didn't want to throw them out. You pay a lot of money for those subscriptions, and they're nice magazines. But when we were moving, and this was probably, who knows, the dozenth time I've moved those magazines, and I guess I was just at the point where I was just tired of moving those books or boxes and boxes and boxes of magazines. So I think I actually just took them to Goodwill. I don't think I threw them away. I didn't have the heart to throw them away. I think I took them to Goodwill, just left them at the Goodwill, and whatever they did with them, I don't know. I don't know if Goodwill would take Sports Illustrated or not. But they were from, all the way back to the 70s. And I ended up getting rid of almost all of them. But I found this where, here's something, because I used to cut things out and make little collages or little things or whatever. And here's one here from October 10th, 1977. I just cut the cover of Sports Illustrated off, and it says $1. And I don't even know who. I know, here's Muhammad Ali fighting. I don't even know who he's fighting, and apparently maybe he lost. This is late in his career, and I think he lost because it was his desperate hour. I know, but I don't even know who he was fighting. But there's a Sports Illustrated from 1977, just the cover. Now, remember how I said I've been saying I want to get my guitar? I want to get my guitar out of storage. My daughter said there was no guitar. I'm like, what? How could there not be a guitar? I'm almost sure, almost 100% sure. I've had lots of guitars over the years, but anyhow, apparently there's no guitar, and there was no guitar. I don't know. But I did find, and I don't know, I don't remember practicing Olivia Newton-John, but here is an Olivia Newton-John songbook. It's got all the sheet music for all these Olivia Newton-John songs. I really do not remember. I do not remember getting this. This is Olivia Newton-John's greatest hits. And it's the sheet music for Olivia Newton-John. She was so pretty. Great singer. Had some great songs. I really don't remember getting this songbook. And then there's some more sheet music just that are printed out. It's got Bob Dylan's Blowing in the Wind. And that's Blowing in the Wind. It's got Sister Christian by whatchamacallit. So I've got the sheet music to Sister Christian and Blowing in the Wind. Sister Christian. I love that song. Do you guys love that song? I love it. Sister Christian, oh, the time has come. And you know you're not the only one to say, okay. That's a great song. So I've got that. I've got the sheet music, and I don't know. I don't remember getting Olivia Newton-John songbook. Maybe someone gave it to me. Now, in high school, how many guys in the chat had the Farrah Fawcett poster hanging up in their bedrooms? I did. Let me see. Or it could have been, or even a girl, even the girls. Whoever had a Farrah Fawcett poster hanging up in your room, raise your hand. I did. Now, I think I've lost. I had that poster. I think I lost that long ago. It's hard to keep posters over the years, and you move and everything. I think I've lost that poster. But I did find, quite possibly, the second best thing. The Bo Derek 1981 calendar. This is from 81, so I guess 10. Did 10 come out? I was thinking the movie 10. I was thinking it came out when I was still in high school, but I graduated in 79. So 10 probably came out right after that. But just the lovely Bo Derek. There she is in all her splendor. All her splendor. I don't know if you heard that. It's kind of falling apart, it looks like. Yeah, there she is. The beautiful Bo Derek, and this calendar was probably hanging up for more than just 1981. It was probably longer than that. Okay, so that stuff is from the late 70s, 1981. Okay, so now, here's some things that I found that were from, I guess, the early. For my, I don't know if we'll look at the dates. I think it's the early 70s. I don't know if I have any from the 60s. But do you guys remember the Weekly Reader? The Weekly Reader? Here's from 1969. So it does go in at least there's one. And then it's from the 70s. Oh, here's another 69. 69. Okay, so yeah, they're all kind of out of order. So there's some from 69. I'll show them in a minute. My Weekly Reader. I just want to show you some of the topics that we talked about that we were talking about back then. You know? I find it fascinating. Maybe you guys don't. I don't know. You might be hating this. So it looks like 69, 70, and 71. So that would put me at 8 going on 9. In April of 69, I was like 8.5 or less. So here's the Weekly Reader. And you can see my little artwork. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's some artwork on there. That's my little artwork. I put faces on the balloons. It's so funny. I know I'm being very self-indulgent today. This stuff probably only matters to me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, no one else. I'm being very self-indulgent. It says balloons to ride the winds. So there was a story about balloons, and it's a couple pages. We'll just look at a couple of these. Some of these are interesting. Here's one from May 69, Be Kind to Animals, and it's talking about animals, to be kind to them. Here's one about hospital in the news, February 69, and how they have Red Cross hospital ships, in the ocean. And they have helicopters, apparently. So there's that. Oh, look at this one. This one cracked me up when I saw that, just I guess yesterday or whatever. There's more of my artwork. So this is April of 69, April 9th, 1969. So I was like 8.5. I don't know if you can see the artwork. There's a koala hanging on a tree limb, and I wrote, "I love you." to the koala, because there's like an arrow point. The arrow is pointing directly at the koala. I apparently loved that koala, and I still do. Here's one about machine that eats cars. Now here's one I think is really cool. Whoops, I hit the mic. This is from May 14th, 1969. And this is about going to the moon. It says Edwin Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins are the astronauts for Apollo 11 flight. They will land on the moon. So I think this is fascinating to me. I don't know. Here we are, 1969. I know you can kind of see through it. It's got the picture of the lunar landing module that is kind of see-through, but it's got the picture of the astronauts. And I mean, this is what was going on in 1969. You know, we were just getting to the moon, going to the moon and everything. Here's one about a city in India has a bird hospital. Jumbo jets take off. Here's from 1970. So a year later, this is February 1970. It says the larger plane is a new jumbo jet. In what ways is it different than older jets? And so here's a thing about the jets, the jumbo jets and how big they were. Here's a thing about Olympic skiers. It's just so cool. Here's one for the eclipse. So these weekly readers I think were so cool. You know, there's one about clowns, circus clowns. Here's one about fire safety. Oh, here's one that's kind of interesting, I think, because they're still building this thing. They're still building it, and they've come a long way on it. I'll show you in a second here. They've come a long way on it, but they're still, I think, quite a ways away from finishing it. And that is the Crazy Horse monument that they're making in South Dakota. By let me get the guy's name. Why do they not have his name? And an artist is carving a huge statue out of a mountain in South Dakota. They don't say his name. I know it's like Krasinski or something like that. Not Krasinski, but you know what I mean. Why are they not saying his name? It is a statue of Crazy Horse. He is a great hero to many Indian people. The artist has been carving the mountain for about 20 years. This is in 1970, and he'd already been in it for 20 years. He has long since passed. I think his family is still carrying on, trying to get it done. Here we are in the year 2026. I find it odd that they didn't put his name in here. It just says the artist carved a small statue of Crazy Horse out of stone. Anyhow, that's weird that they didn't say his name. Maybe they thought it was too hard for us to pronounce or something as little kids. And so anyhow, yeah, this is on there. This is for the Crazy Horse thing. In 1970, an article about it. And here we are in 2026. They're still trying to get that thing done. Now, this is kind of interesting. A little foreshadowing of what I would become later in life, I guess. Here's a picture of an 18-wheeler. Apparently, that was like a mobile classroom for areas that needed classrooms or something. Journey to the bottom of the world. Here's something from the Antarctica. It's got penguins in there. So yeah, this is my weekly reader. I just found these fascinating to find these old weekly readers. So these are like 50 years old. Oh, now talking about magazines. Well, we'll get that in a second. I found a bunch of these Dodger posters. There's a bunch of something that I got. Now this is probably after high school because this is from I think the early '90s or something. It shows the '88 Dodgers and the '92 Dodgers. But yeah, I got a bunch of these posters. Here we are getting back into the baseball theme for today's show. So I found a bunch of these. I've got like 3 of these Dodger posters. Okay, and then but here are some magazines that I did not throw away or get rid of. You guys remember Mad Magazine? There's a whole stack of them in here. Here's one. Now we're coming up on our 250th, anniversary as a country. This will be our 250th. In 1976, we celebrated the bicentennial, which was the 200 year. And so Mad Magazine had an issue commemorating the bicentennial. So there's that. There we go. And these are all in really good condition. I mean, this is I wouldn't say it's mint, but it's very good condition. I need to get some of those those plastic protector things. Here's one with the Bionic Woman and $6 Million Man. I've got a whole bunch in here. There's another one there. Aren't you guys glad that you helped pay for this? To get this, to save these Mad magazines? You guys are probably like, this is what we were donating for? So here's the rest of the stack. These are all my Mad magazines. This is going back to, look, this says 75 cents, super cheap. These are all like early 70s. Here's the Exorcist barf bag, 74, 71, 72, 73. So this is my collection of Mad magazines. And I'm sure I had, more over the years, but, over the years, it seems like every time you move, something either gets lost or thrown away or whatever, And I've moved lots of times since the 70s. There was. I'll show you in a minute. There's another thing I was going to show you guys. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, speaking of Sports Illustrated, I did keep this one. This is Sports Illustrated's Swimsuit Hall of Fame. I managed to keep that one. This is from what year is this? Because this is a special 40th anniversary. And it's got Cheryl Tiegs and Tyra Banks. I guess Elle McPherson, Rachel. Who was Rachel? They're just spelling their first names. Christy, Heidi, and more. Let's see. I don't know what the date is on here when this came out, but quite a while ago, I guess. I guess was this from the 80s or the 90s? Trying to see if there should be a date on here somewhere. But anyhow, the entire magazine is just featuring all of the Sports Illustrated. It's got like a pull-out poster thingy. It's in pretty good condition. It's pretty good condition. There's a date down here. Oh, here we go. I think this is 2004. I think. So I think this is from 2004. But I put it in here because, even though that's not elementary school, I only have so much room for shit. Here's I put all this stuff in a bag because some loose stuff. I got a bunch of like pins and buttons that are kind of cool. Like, there's some stamps. There's actually a dice from the El Cortez. I thought this was kind of cool. Remember I was talking about the Sands Hotel earlier, and how we stayed there a couple times. Well, my dad was a shop steward and a union officer in the at his local at the cement plant that he worked at. And every year they would go to conventions, and a lot of times they held it in Vegas. I don't know if it was every year, but they had it in Vegas a lot of times. And one year we went. So this is October 1972. So I just turned 12. And look, they actually made a little badge for me. This is John. See, it says John Fowler III, and there's my little AFI CIO. Emblem. This is my little pass. Even though I really never went into any, I don't remember going into any like events or any from that. I remember just hanging out in the hotel, and then we would go to dinners. I remember going to dinners with a lot of the union guys and stuff. So it was me and my mom and my dad. And I still have this. I didn't even know I still had this. It's been tucked away in a box, but I thought it was cool. Yeah, this is from This was the 16th internal convention, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the United Cement, Lime, and Gypsum Workers International, which was part of the AFL-CIO CLC. So this is cool. I think this is really cool. I know I'm being very self-indulgent. You guys probably don't give a fuck about any of this stuff, but I think it's really cool. So I got that. I've got that badge or that pass or whatever. There's a bunch of stuff in here. That I found. Mad Mac, do the back page fold in. Well, it had a fold thing. It wasn't in the back. It's kind of in the middle. You talking about the Sports Illustrated, or you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Bad Magazine. Yeah, where they would do the fold in. Yeah, I don't want to fold these. I used to do that. That's why I'm pretty sure that I had way more Mad magazines. Because none of these are like that I have here are yeah, here's the fold in. None of these are well, this one does have a crease, so I must have folded this one. But yeah, here's the fold in. Like, here's a fold in. But I don't want to mess with that. That one looks kind of fragile. So, but yeah, there's that. Okay, so that's that bag there. What was in here? Oh, this is just a bag full of like birthday cards and happy birthday cards and stuff. And I read through some of them, and there's some of them are just, it's just so lovely to see birthday cards from my parents who have passed, my grandparents who have passed, my aunts and uncles that have passed, and to read their words and see their handwriting. It's just amazing how just doing something like that, it makes you emotional, right? So let's see, what's this next? Got a batch of stuff here. This is What have we got? I think another Dodger thing. Oh, I had a Super Bowl poster of all the Super Bowls to that point. And you're supposed to get stickers, collect stickers, and I only got some of the stickers. This one goes from Super Bowl 1 all the way to Super Bowl 23. And now we're up to what, 50 something? So did anybody ever have this? You can see some of the stickers. But this thing is like in mint condition. So there's that. Here is something I saved for some reason. What is it? Probably a car I like. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I saved this picture for some reason. I mean, this is the official pace car of the Indy 500 from, I think it's 1979. Look at that. Look at there. I kept that. Here's some magazines. These are, this is from high school. I know this box is mainly supposed to be elementary school, but this is from high school. So I was taking a drafting class in high school, and so I got these sort of like magazines on like how to, or that showed floor plans and stuff like that. So I think that's what that was for. And here's some stuff I saved. You know, like I said, I make little collages. I really like Reggie Jackson at the time. I don't know if you can see with the glare, but here's a little thing. This is cut out probably from Sports Illustrated, actually that's Time Magazine. I didn't care about cutting up Time Magazine so much. Oh, look at there! Wow, these are in these protective sheets. I've got a picture of Kurt Warner, running back for the Seattle Seahawks, and then right next to that picture, I have got a picture of yours truly. So this is definitely not elementary school. This is college. This is when I was going to college. This is, I think, the second time around at VVC, because VVC had a football program that I went to right out of college. I mean, right out of high school. Then they discontinued their football program, and then in 1986, I guess it was, I went back, and so that would be in 1986 when I was about almost 26. So that's funny. That's funny that I came across that. Here's some things. Jack Youngblood, one of my favorite Rams. Okay, so here's a Sports Illustrated cover. Marcus Allen. I'm not a Raiders fan at all, but I definitely was a USC fan, and I like Marcus Allen. Oh, now I don't have the entire Playboy, but I did keep this cover. This is from 1978. Not the famous poster, but here is Farrah in Playboy. So there's that. Here is a picture of the Lakers, 1972 Lakers. I think I got this free at Derwiener Schnitzel. Yeah, this is celebrating the 71-72 Lakers. They had the longest winning streak in pro sports history. I think that may have been broken by maybe the Warriors. Didn't they break it a few years ago? So I got that. Here is a Wheaties box with the Lakers. 87-88 world champions back to back. So I kept that. Here's a program from a 1991 season of the Antelope Valley Crusaders. That's a semi-pro football team that I played for in 91. So that's when I was like 31. So there's that. Here's a 1977. At the time, I think they were just the California Angels. It just says Angels, but I think they were called the California Angels. Here is a, I think this is a calendar for the 1985 Angels. I like the Angels. Don't go, I thought you were a Dodger fan. Yeah, I am a Dodgers fan. That's the Dodgers are my number one team, but that doesn't mean I can't like the Angels. Here's something I got. Here's Claude Osteen. He was a pitcher for the Dodgers, and there's his sons. I believe Claude Osteen has since passed away. There's his sons, because this is a long time ago. This is from the 70s. I got a picture. I don't know if you want to see all these. I got a picture of Pete Rose in a protective thing. Here's some things. I think these are things that they were handing out, maybe at Dodger Stadium or something. I got a bunch of these Dodger things. Like that's Jorge Orta. Here's one of Don Sutton. Here's Mike Marshall. Here's Dusty Baker. You guys know Dusty Baker, right? That's when he was a Dodger. Now, he's been a manager of the Giants, and now he's, I think, the Astros, and I think was the Orioles or whatever. Here's Bob Welsh. Mark Belanger, who was a long time, I think, Oriole, and I guess he played there. Terry Forster, Ken Landreau. So I got all these. I got Jose Morales, Tommy Lasorda. Thanks for indulging me while I do this. Here's Tommy Lasorda. Good old Tommy. Manager of the Dodgers. Steve Sachs. Bill Russell. There's Bill Russell, one of the greats. Pedro Guerrero. Fernando Valenzuela. Look at this. Got this picture of Fernando. Whoops. The late, great Fernando Valenzuela. Here's just some more Dodger stuff. Oh, commemorative. They were doing stamps. There's like a stamp collection. All right. I know. I apologize. I know I'm just doing this, and this was probably not very interesting. I'm sorry. What else? As I'm getting deeper in the box, it's harder to get it. Here's some more Dodger commemorative stuff. Oh, now here I do have the record. I do have the 45 for this. I think this is just more Dodger stuff. But in here, I've still got the record. This is it, right? Let's see. Yeah, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. So I've still got the record, the 45. After the Dodgers won the World Series against the Yankees, in what year was that? Was it 81 or something? These guys made a record, a little 45, where they sing about the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. So I got that. Now, any of you guys who collected like football cards, you might remember sometimes they had these little posters that would fold out. Now this one's not in very good shape, but here's one of Joe Namath. And I got Bob Greasy, who was like my favorite player, one of my favorite players at that time. I really liked Bob Greasy. There. We got Bob Greasy. We got Bart Starr. Look at that. And Fran Tarkenton. Look at that. And then there's these things these are like these, I don't know. These are things that you could read. They're like these little file things. Like here's Hammer and Hank Aaron. There's Nordia Comaneci from the Olympics and just the Green Bay Packers. And it just has a little thing on the back. I don't know where. I think this is something we got. I don't know, something my dad ordered or something. And then I don't know. This is some autographs that you cannot see. I can barely see them. I think it might have been Harlem Globetrotters because I kind of vaguely remember seeing the Harlem Globetrotters, but I cannot read the names. I cannot. I don't know what they are. Okay, so what else is in here? Here's just an empty envelope. I'm beginning to wonder if this is the right box. I don't think this is the right box. That has what I was looking for. There's just some magazines, some Dodger programs from going to games. There's something about the Winter Olympics in '92. It's a special book about that. Here's some Beckett baseball card collecting books, magazines. This is not the right box. There's some old Rolling Stone. Got some old Rolling Stones in here with like Bruce Springsteen and stuff. We don't need to show it. So I did all that. This is not even the right box. I thought this was the box. It had what I wanted to talk about. I know the viewership has gone way down. I know this must be incredibly boring, and I apologize. But you know, maybe take a break from talking about the stupid reflecting pond or whatever. Maybe we'll take a break from talking about Trump and his idiocy and all that. I did come across a card, or actually a letter, that my cousin Danny sent me back when we were just little kids. I mean, we must have been, I don't know, I forget the date on it, but it really broke my heart because me and him haven't spoken really since the first Trump administration because he, just turned out to be basically a maggot. And it wasn't just that. It was more. It was just his the way he was just kind of coming after me and things he was saying, and I eventually just I don't usually block people. I think I was the one that blocked him. He didn't block me, but he was basically becoming kind of like a harasser. It was like harassment what he was doing, but it broke my heart because I found this letter because see my cousin Danny and we were only children, and I do have a brother and a sister, but they weren't born until I was 16 and 18, so I was basically grown and almost out of the house by the time my brother and sister came along. So my cousin and I we're 1 month apart in age exactly. I was born October 3rd. He was born November 3rd in the same year. And but we lived about, I don't know, 90 miles apart, 80, 90 miles or whatever it was. He lived in the San Fernando Valley. I lived out in the high desert, up in Victorville and Apple Valley. So but we were like brothers because we were so close in age. And so whenever we could get together for holidays or during the summer, I would usually go down to his house for a couple weeks, and then he would come over to our house for a few weeks. He would go on vacations with us during the summer. So he was really like my brother. You know, he wasn't just a cousin. He was like a brother. And I found this little letter that he wrote. I'm not exactly sure if it was in this box or one of the other boxes, but it really kind of broke my heart because to see how, we don't talk anymore. And he just wrote in his little kid writing, but very nice writing, actually. I think like 10 years old, maybe, how he was saying, I can't wait for you to come down. I miss you, and I can't wait to come down, to come to your house and all that kind of stuff. It was just really sweet. It was such a sweet thing. And now here we are all these years later, and we don't speak, I mean, it's really sad. So now I wrote on the box so I wouldn't forget what was in here. And I wrote Mad Magazine's Sports Picks, Dodgers, Weekly Readers. Nothing about Little League on this. Because what I was looking for was my Little League stuff. Okay, guys, I'm gonna put this box back under my bed because that's where I stuck these totes because there's limited space, but they fit perfectly under the bed. I'll be right back. Aaron West is back. All right, Aaron, thanks for coming back. I have been totally ignoring the chat. I mean, today is my self-indulgent day. I'm looking through boxes, and I know it's probably boring as shit for you guys, but I apologize. And I'm not reading your chat, so I apologize for being, so rude, because usually I don't do that. All right, I'll be right back. All right, let's see if it's in this one. I didn't write anything on this one. This one has a plastic tote, and I was going to look for a marker to write on it, and I just never did get the marker. So what's in this box? I just went through them, and I'm already forgotten. Now here I've got, I think, 3 of these posters, or at least, no, I think there's 3. I think I could maybe straighten them out, maybe frame one. This is from the 1984 Olympics, I believe. It just says 1984 Games. So Olympics must be trademarked or something. And this is from Miller High Life. And it's just sort of a kind of a cartoon rendering of, I guess, where all the various events are being held for the 1984 Olympics in LA. So yeah, I found that. In case anyone's interested. So there's that. There are more box full of letters from old girlfriends, from old friends in high school, from a whole shoe box. There's another shoe box. More letters. So I got basically 2 shoe boxes full of letters. Why do I keep these letters? Well, and I've been asking myself that. Why do I keep all this shit? And basically, this is kind of like my diary in a way, because I never kept a diary. Whenever I would try to keep a diary, I would get a little diary, book, and I would write in it for 3 or 4 days, and then I would stop and not write again for like 10 years. But these things, these letters and all this stuff, it's kind of like a diary. I guess that's why I keep it. I don't know. I've got my high school cap and gown in here. There are some cassettes. I'm pretty sure these tapes are probably no good. But I don't even have a cassette player to even try it. But I would like to play them and see anyhow, because like here's one that says, this is just an audio cassette. But it says Christmas morning 1975. So I recorded, this is the shit I would do. I was 15, I guess. I recorded on audio Christmas morning, and it says Grandma Tom, who was which Grandma's husband, and it says what else does it say? I don't know. This is like family shit for my grandma who's deceased. I think it's Aunt somebody or no, I think it says mom, dad, my mom and dad, John, which is me, and then no, it says Jason and Johnny. So wait, was Jason born? He must have been a tiny. That's probably why they were down. He had just been born, I think, in September. So I made an audio recording of Christmas morning. But like I said, this is from 1975. This probably doesn't even play because these tapes degrade. But still, I would like to have a. Oh, you know what? And I did find, what box is that in? I did find kind of a knockoff Walkman that plays cassette. So I do have that, but I don't have the headphones for it. And I'm not even sure if it works, even if I know there's no batteries in it. But I did find this kind of Walkman. And then here's another tape, an audio tape that, let's see if I can read it. I think this is even before 1970. And this is just mom in the kitchen. And what's it say? It's got mom in the kitchen, and then there's some songs that I put on here. But it leads off with mom in the kitchen. Talk. I think I was, I would do shit like that. I was recording shit, and I was doing it kind of secretly. And there's something on here where my mom was saying stuff, and then I just used that as a lead-in to put music on this thing. But I'm sure it probably doesn't even play. And then here's just saying, it says raindrops keep falling on my head. So this is probably a music tape. Now I didn't find the compilation tapes, Jolie. Is Jolie still here? I don't think I have any of the compilation tapes, but here is a tape that has comedy, stand-up comedy of Bill Cosby, and also music, because it's got "My Eyes Adored You" by Frankie Valli. But it's got on this side, it's got Bill Cosby. It just says Bill Cosby, but it's got Jimi Hendrix and "My Eyes Adored You." Quite the combination there. And then on this other side, it's got Bill Cosby. No, it's got Hudson and Landry, not the Hudson brothers, but Hudson and Landry. I think was that like a KFI duo or something. Hudson and Landry. I don't know. And then it's got baby crying. I think that might be my brother. I've got audio, but I'm sure this does not work. But it'll be fascinating. And then it's got Bill Cosby, and it's got Sonny and Cher. This is from January. This is from January of '75. So this is right after Christmas. This is right after that Christmas one. I don't know if there's any way you can get these to play. You know, once they degrade, unfortunately. But I still have them. But I don't think I could hear anything. And then I found this. I thought this was fascinating, and I don't remember how I got this. I think my dad gave me this. I think this was something he got from work or something. Look, it still has the owner's manual. Look, well, here, I don't know why. I should keep it in the case. Look, and show you guys. But this is probably from 1975 or something also. I don't know. But check this out. So this is like this, it's a little, I don't know how to say it. It's like kind of velvety, or, it's this material. It's sort of like a crushed velvet. This little thing. Like if you had a breast pocket, it would fit perfectly in your breast pocket. Okay. So here it is. You take this, you just open the flap. And you pull this out. And you open the little lid. It's a calculator. I couldn't figure out how to pop this thing out to put a battery. I was going to see what battery it takes. Probably one of those little, nickel cadmium or whatever, those little things. But it's a little calculator, and it just does that. It still has the owner's manual. It's like brand new. Found that. Not sure where I got it. I think my dad gave it to me or something. Like he got it probably from something from work or something. I don't know. So there's that. Here's an old busted up frame of my football team, high school football team. Here's a photo that instantly made me very famous or infamous on a high school campus. I forget if I was a junior. I don't think I was a sophomore. It might have been junior year. I don't know. My friend Lyndall, I think I've got Lyndall. My friend Lyndall Savage, one of my best friends, he was in a photography class, and he was going around always having to snap pictures and do funny things, and do, sort of like action photos or whatever. So here's my friend Lyndall on the right. That's me. And he took this picture here. That is his little brother, Lindsay. He said, "Hey, Lindsay, get up on the fence. John, you put this helmet on, hold this rifle, he's like, Lindsay, you get up on the fence and you jump down like you're gonna, tackle John. And at this time, Lindsay was only, I don't even think he was in junior high yet. He might have still been in elementary school. It was Lyndall's little brother, Lyndall and Lindsay. So he made that picture, and we thought it was funny, So when my friend Lyndall developed it, on the main, like what do they call it? The quad or whatever. It's at high school. They have a student bulletin board, and they put bulletins in there for the next dance or the next thing that's going on, or the next game, whatever season it is, whatever high school game or is going on, or whatever events are going on or things that are going on. They post in those things. My friend, he developed this picture, and he slid it through the glass because he didn't have authorization to put this in the bulletin board. He just slid it through the glass, and it just landed there perfectly for everyone to see. And here's the original. I got the original. And when he put that in the bulletin board, I was walking on the campus, coming to school, and there must have been 100 kids all around this bulletin board trying to look at the bulletin board, and which never really happened. I mean, no one ever did that. You might see 2 or 3 kids looking at the bulletin board or whatever at a time. This time there was like 100 kids, and I'm like, what? And then I'm like, what's the deal? What's going on? What's everyone looking at? And then people are looking at me like, oh, you'll see. And then they kind of let me through, and I get up and I see everyone's just laughing. They just got a big kick out of this picture. I don't know what it is, but they just got the biggest kick out of this picture. They're just laughing and laughing, and they're going, look at Fowler. They all knew it was me, even though the helmet's kind of over my head, over my face. They're like, Fowler, hey, look at you, oh, they're just laughing. And then they started calling me Army Man. So for a long time, my nickname became Army Man. And if I wasn't very well known at that point, I was from that day on. Like everyone, at least, everyone learned who the Army Man was. So that's the original picture that I have right there. So I'm just looking through. I've got a bunch of some articles I wrote in the 90s when I was a shop steward. I wrote articles for the newsletter. That's what I'm finding right now. Here's the newscaster. This one was from 1997, August 1997. I wrote articles for that. And then here's a bunch of my articles here in this folder. Here's my athletic award for getting a letter in football. All right, so I think I'm getting close. Some of this stuff is not, it's kind of mixed up, I guess. A lot of this stuff is high school stuff, but here is my guide to MLA documentation. Came in handy for writing book reports. Here's just some stuff some writings, stuff I wrote. I think this is actually some college courses in here. I might have grabbed the wrong box again. I might have grabbed the wrong darn box. Here's some stuff. This is from high school football. Oh, no, actually, this is some college football stuff. Oh, here I found what I was looking for. Okay. So should I tell you here since this is supposed to be baseball themed today. And we are in the middle of Major League Baseball season. We're almost to the All-Star break coming up next month, in a few weeks. And since this is Father's Day, I did put this at the end of the intro, this photo. That's me and Dad. I believe it was in 72. Let me tell you about baseball. Here's 73. So maybe that was 73, or maybe I didn't keep track of 72, because that seems like 72, but this is probably 73. I mean, that picture. I don't know. But let me tell you a little something. I loved baseball. Hello, Aaron West. Thanks for coming back. I loved baseball. Baseball was my first love. But I never really played like in a league very much. For one reason or another, seems like something would always happen. We were always moving. We were constantly moving. And it seems like I would miss the tryouts, or I remember even going to tryouts and getting picked on a team, and then we moved. All shit like that during Little League. Now, my cousin Dan played Little League from when he was a little kid all the way up to Pony League, which is like when you're like 15. And Danny was really good baseball player. And he played almost every year. But I didn't. And I always wanted to, but like I said, it seems like things just happened. But whenever I was down visiting Danny, we always played catch. We played lots of like pickup games with friends. We were always grabbing a bat, grabbing our gloves, going down to the park and playing like pickup games. But as far as being in Little League, I didn't really do it all that much. I only played apparently 4 seasons. And so I could kind of hold my own, but I wasn't as good as these kids that played all the time. You know what I mean? I just always was behind or whatever. But I could hold my own, and I could, do okay. But I think it was probably around 1970 or 71, I remember actually getting on a team. So like I'm around 9, 10. And I remember we were having a practice game, and we had just got our baseball caps. We didn't even have our uniforms, but we had our baseball caps, and we were playing a practice game. And it was out at this field. It was just a dirt field, but it had a backstop, and it had bases and the pitcher's mound and all that stuff. And it was just a practice game against another team. And I think I'm like 9 or 10. And I remember I had to go to the bathroom. And there was no bathrooms, no porta potties, no nothing out there. And I told the coach, I got to go pee. And so the coach kind of looks around and he goes, well, go down to that tree. And there was a tree kind of down around right field. And I was like, I don't know, I was shy apparently. Because later on in life, I was, I'd pee anywhere, But I was like, it's kind of out in the open. I just felt shy or something. I don't know. So I tried to hold it. So I'm holding it, and apparently like a little pee was coming out every now and then. I don't know, because I didn't realize that I basically had peed myself. And I didn't realize it. And I was playing, And then coach just says, you're going to go in, you're going to pitch next inning. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I'm going to try you out at pitching. I've never pitched before. And he goes, that's okay. Just throw strikes, man. So I go out to pitch, and I didn't realize I had like a big pea stain in my crotch. But I was pitching pretty good. I was actually striking out batters. But then I noticed people in this, like there were some people watching the game. There were some little metal bleachers, and there were some people watching and stuff. My parents weren't there. My dad was probably at work. My mom had just dropped me off and was going to pick me up because it wasn't like a real game. It was just like practice with him. But it was like a game. It was still like a real game, but it was a practice game. And then I noticed everyone's like sort of pointing at me and laughing at me. And then I look down and I see I got this big piss stain. And I was just mortified. I was absolutely mortified. And so I just, after that inning, I was able to finish the inning, and I just sat down on the bench and I was like, I'm done. I'm not going back out there. And the coach was like, all right. The coach didn't seem to matter or care about the piss stain. Or what, he didn't care. And I wish I later in life, I would have been where I didn't care either. I would have been, okay, so what? I pissed my pants. But at 9 years old or 10, I think 9 or 10, probably 10, I guess, I was like really embarrassed. So I didn't play the rest of the game, and my mom came and picked me up, and she's like, what's wrong? Because I think I'd been crying. I think I was covering the front of my pants with my glove, And she's like, what happened? And then I think I showed her, she's like, oh, get in the car. And I'm like kind of crying, and I'm like, I'm not ever coming back. She's like, oh, come on. It's not that big of a deal or whatever. I go, I'm not coming back. So she goes, she's like, you've been wanting to play baseball. And now because of this, you're not going to play. I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm not coming back. So I didn't come back. And this was in Victorville. And for years, I would run into kids like at the community pool or at other kids' birthday parties, and they would go, oh, you're the guy who peed your pants. So this was a thing that they remembered. These kids remembered that. And they would never fail to bring it up. I'm hoping it would go away. And it wouldn't go away. So I didn't play. And then we moved to Apple Valley, which is a neighboring city. It's not that, it's just a few miles away, but a few miles can make a huge difference. And then we moved to Apple Valley, so I went out for baseball. And there's me and my dad on picture day. So I was probably 12 going on 13, I guess. I turned 13 in October. So this is the spring. So I'm like 12 and a half in that picture with my dad. And you can see, I believe this is the same season. I think that's the same season. Although I look kind of bigger there. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure this was the same season. Because according to my records, I only played one season. But so I was able to make it. Because I remember actually trying out in Apple Valley and we moved before the season started. And I always wanted to play. And I was a stats kid. I loved stats. I loved baseball stats. So I don't even remember doing this. And I found these. These are from 1973. After each game, I would write a little summary of the game. And I'm going to read them to you because I don't know. Please, I'm being very self-indulgent. So, and I was terrible. Just remember, in Little League, the kids that are good, they're getting 3, 4, 5 hits every game. They're hitting 700. They're hitting 800. Their batting averages. Okay, just to put this in perspective. So if I hit 300, that's not as good as it sounds. The kids that have been playing, they're hitting 600, 700, 800 batting averages. They're hitting home runs. Okay, so here's me. May 7th, 1973. I played first base, batted fourth. First game against Mets, we won 13-12. I hit 3 out of 4 times at bat safely. I stole 3 bases and scored 1 time. I made 1 error in fielding when I overthrew the second baseman. Walked once, batting average 750. So I'm off to a pretty good start. I'm hitting 750. I'm hitting like the good kids hit. May 10th, this was 3 days later, I played first base, batted fourth. Coach kept me in at fourth, probably thought I was a good hitter. I hit 3 for 4. I was 3 for 4 the first game. So we played the Reds for 3.5 innings and are going to make up that game. We led 12-2. I was up twice. So far, it says so far I was up twice and hit safely twice. And it says we lost 27-24. I think I was filling in maybe for the makeup or something. The first time I hit a single and knocked in 3 runs. But I tried to steal third and got out. The second time, I hit a single and knocked in a run. I struck out and grounded out. I hit a single and knocked in a run. I stole second, third, and home. I stole home. No errors. I walked and stole second, batting average 750. So for the first 2 games, I'm hitting 750. Wow. May 15th, I played first base and batted fifth. We played the Pirates. We lost 5-4. I made no errors. I spelled made, M-A-Y-E-D. Embarrassing. I struck out 2 times, and on my last up, I hit a triple. 3-bagger. And I scored a run. Batting average 333. May 17th, I played first base and batted 8th. Coach dropped me down to 8th, down to the 8 hole. We played, just because I didn't go 3 for 4 or whatever, I don't know. I played first base and batted 8th. We played the Mets and lost 12-11. Oh my gosh, all these close games. I struck out once, grounded out. I hit a single and I stole second and third. I was hit and scored. Batting average 333. Oh boy. May 22nd. I played first base, batted 8th. Why am I batting 8th, coach? Anyhow, we played the Reds and we won 25-16. No errors. I walked once and hit 2 doubles. I stole third. I tried to steal home, but I got out. Uh-oh, they threw me out at home plate. Batting average 750. May 23rd, I played first base, batted 8th. We played the Pirates and lost 16-11. No errors. I walked and stole second and third. I struck out and grounded out. I also hit a single. Batting average 250. The Met game is blank. Apparently we didn't play. May 31st says I was out of town, so I missed the game against the Reds. But we won 12-6. June 4th, batting average. I put the batting average at the top here, 250. Says I played first base, batted 9th. Damn. We played the Pirates. We lost 13-14. I made an error when I missed an easy grounder right to me. But next inning, I picked up the grounder, got the man out, and held the man on third. Look at there, I made a good play, I guess. I struck out, walked, and hit a beautiful would-be triple, but Richie Allen thought he missed second base and got us both out. Damn, Richie Allen. But I knocked in 2 runs. I had 2 ribbies. June 8th, batting average 250. I played first base, batted 8th. We played the Mets and lost 27-18. But 20 of the runs scored were caused because our pitcher. I made 1 error when I overthrew to third base. I struck out twice, popped out, and I hit a single. I stole second base. June 11th, batting average 0. I played first base, batted 8th. We played the Reds and won 19-6. I walked 3 times and struck out 1 time. I stole second and third, and I scored a run. June 14th, batting average 0 again. I played first base, batted 6th. We played the Pirates and won 19-17. I fielded beautifully, I wrote, when I caught a dashing, this is how I wrote it, I caught a dashing bad bouncer and tagged the bag and made the out. Then I caught a foul ball to make another out. The next inning, there was a man on first, and I caught a pop fly, and the runner was running, so I tagged the base for a double play. That's like an unassisted double play, I guess is what I'm trying to say. In the inning, the same thing happened, and I also caught a foul pop-up. So I made all 3 outs that inning. So I was fielding like a crazy man, even though I had a 0 batting average. I didn't bat so well. I struck out twice and walked twice. I stole second twice and tried to steal third, but got out. Jimmy Nassif pitched his first game of the season and pitched pretty good. So I'm giving Jimmy some love there. Rick, I think DeAngelis, our catcher, hit a grand slam. And Nassif got the game ball. I think Rick or me should have got it. That's funny. I guess that was I guess that was it for the season, because then it just goes to I'll save that one for later. It just has the 1 loss record. I was just doing like, I was just keeping track of it like that. So here's my 1973. I made charts for each game. And the totals. I guess it was 12 games that I played, 16 hits. I had a column for GS, which stood for Grand Slams. I had 0 Grand Slams. I had 18 stolen bases. I scored 6 runs. I committed 4 errors, 0 home runs, 9 singles, 2 doubles, and a triple. Only 7 RBIs. So my batting average for the season, even though I got off to a hot start, I had first 2 games I hit 750. Boy, I had another game at 750 in game 5. But my overall batting average was only 366. 39 at bats, 11 walks, none intentional. So that was my 1973 stats. And then I kept track of standings. It's funny, like on May 9th, we were in first place. May 24th, we were in third place. By June 8th, we were in last place. So there's that. That's the 1973 season. of Little League. And then I think we moved again, and I went back to Victorville, and I wasn't going to play in Victorville. And then we moved back to Apple Valley. And so I played in what was called Senior League. And so that was for the, I think, 13 and 14-year-olds. And I remember the tryouts. I remember going to tryouts. And so that's like if you're new to the league, you have to go to tryouts. And all the coaches, they do like a draft afterwards. They watch you field and throw and hit. And I remember, okay, so now here it is, 1975. That was just a couple of years later. But now in 1975, oh yeah, I can only have so many pictures on at a time. So here's me in 75, 14 and a half, about 14 and a half, a little taller, a little thinner, older, I'm a teenager now. And I remember going to baseball tryouts, and, they had like the best pitchers in the league were pitching to us, but they're just throwing it over the plate. They're not trying to strike us out. They're just, it's like BP, but but they're good, and they're throwing it right over. They're throwing strikes. And I remember for my hitting, I did really good at the tryouts. I did really good. My fielding, my throwing, everything. And like I said, I really didn't play very much Little League. I only played with my cousin and other friends, in pickup games because I loved baseball. But I never really played in leagues. Like, this is only like my second year that I'm trying out for. But I remember, man, and when I hit, I was hitting the ball all over the field. I was spraying the ball. I was hitting line drives. I remember, the field we were at was a really huge field. I mean, the fence in left field was over 350 feet. Center field was over 400 feet. Right field was probably 330. Left field was probably at least 350 or 360. And I didn't hit anything out. I remember hitting the fence on the fly. I was hitting the fence. I was knocking the cover off the ball. I was really doing good. So anyhow, I get drafted by the Giants. So you can see this is a Giant uniform. It looks almost the same as the other one. So I got drafted by the Giants, which just happened to be the defending champions of the senior league, and still had a lot of returning players from the previous season that were almost all the starting lineup was almost all all-stars. These guys were studs. This had Jody McGowan, Jeff Cheney, Ronnie Vanberger, Keith DeForest, who else? I don't. Just a great lineup of kids that were just studs. These were studs, man. These were the studs of the league, and so I got drafted to that team. And I wasn't very good, but the Coach McGowan, that was Jody's dad. I mean, he thought I was a really good player. He thought he really got a good player. As it turns out, really wasn't that good. And to tell the truth, I think it's psychological, because I know I would go to batting cages and I could hit good. I hit really good in the tryouts. I think it was psychological. I think I got psyched out. There's some sort of performance anxiety. I don't know. Here I did the same thing I did when I was 12. I did another one when I was 14. My Giants records. 1975, May 14th. I played center field until the fourth inning, then left the game. Batted seventh. We played the Cards. We won 18-5. I struck out twice. I made an error when the pitcher overthrew to second. It got past me and 2 runs scored. Batting average 0. May 17th. I played left field from fifth inning on to end the game. Batted seventh. We played the Dodgers. Oh, by the way, my cousin Dan had moved up to Apple Valley and was playing in the league, and he was on the Dodgers. So I got to play. We were on different teams, but I got to play with my cousin, who was like my brother. And I remember before tryouts, I remember we worked out. We're working out, man. We were practicing together. We were going to the baseball field and the parks, and we were throwing and hitting. For like 2 weeks, we got ready, man, for those tryouts. And so my cousin got drafted to the Dodgers. I got drafted to the Giants. My cousin was on the Dodgers. So here we are. We play the Dodgers, and my cousin's on there. So I batted seventh. We played the Dodgers and won 3-2. Batting average 0. May 21st, I played left field for first 2 innings. Batted ninth. We played the Cubs. We won 6-2. I walked once. Batting average 0. May 23rd, I played right field for the first 3 innings. I batted ninth. We played the Phillies. We won 11-4. I walked once and was hit by pitch. Batting average 0. May 27th, I played left field from 4th inning to the end of the game. I batted ninth. We played the Reds and beat them 17-3. I finally started hitting the darn ball. In the 5th, I saw a perfect pitch and swung. I think it curved in on me and jammed me. It went between the mound and third base line and not too far out. I was out by a step. Then in the 7th, I hit a line drive to the third baseman, and he caught it. Another 2 feet, and it would have been a base hit. Batting average 0. May 30th, I played right field for the first 3 innings, batted ninth. We played the Braves and beat them 16-5. In the 2nd inning, there were men on 2nd and 3rd. I tried bunting the first 2 and then swung away. I struck out. Then the next inning, I walked. Batting average 0. Haven't had a hit yet. June 4th, I played right field from 4th inning to the end of the game. I batted ninth. We beat the Cards 27-6. In the 5th inning, I struck out. In the 6th inning, I grounded out. Batting average 0. June 6th, I played first 3 innings in left field. I batted 7th. We beat the Cards 15-8. The Cards got their 8 runs in the first inning. Wow, so they went up 8-0 in the first inning. And then we beat them. I batted twice in the 2nd inning. First I walked, and then the pitcher kept walking people until I came in. Then in that same inning, I grounded out. Batting average 0. June 9th. This is 1974, right? Or 75, I guess. We beat the Dodgers 7-6. I played right field first 4 innings, batted ninth. In the 2nd and 3rd, I walked and got to second base. Both times, Keith Kalesia pinch ran for me and scored both times. So I think in this league, you could substitute back and forth and go. You could go in and go out. Now later on, you're going to see in the tournament. There was a tournament that we were in. You couldn't do that apparently, but during the season, they allowed for you to go in and out. I guess. Anyhow, both times Keith Lears ran for me and scored both times. In the last of the 7th, I played left field, batting average 0. June 12th, we beat the Dodgers 4-3. I played right field for 4 innings. I batted ninth. In the 2nd inning, I walked. Then I stole second. I got to third. Their catcher tried to pick me off, but he threw it away. So I went in to score. In the 4th inning, I walked again. Then someone hit the ball. The third baseman, Dan, my cousin Dan. So I think that was Dan. Well, I didn't put it in there because sometimes Dan pitched, sometimes Dan caught. He was a Great player. And he could pitch. He could play first, third, catch, outfield. He could play anywhere. But anyhow, in this game, he was playing third, and he's the one that caught the ball. See what did I say? I hit the ball to third baseman Dan. I was forced out at second on a close play, so he threw me out. Batting average 0. June 18th, we beat the Braves 15-3. I played in right field for 4 innings. I batted ninth. I walked twice. Batting average 0. June 20th, we beat the Braves 11-1. I played right field for 4 innings. In the second inning, I struck out. Then in the I guess that's the fourth. My fours sometimes look like 9, but you don't play 9 innings and you only play 7, right? In this league, I bunted safely. Then got the man in from third, but the pitcher threw home, so I didn't get a hit. That was a fielder's choice. But I got the RBI. Batting average 0. June 24th, we beat the Reds 18-0. I played right field first 2 innings. I batted ninth. First time at bat, I walked. Then I struck out. I was taken out for 2 innings, then put back in the fifth. See, so in this league, you could do that. You could be taken out and put back in. I walked, stole second, and went to third base. On someone's single, stole home. I stole home. The next at bat, I struck out on bad calls by the umpire. In the first inning, Jody McGowan hit a home run. Then he hit another in the second, right after Jeff Cheney hit one too. Then in the sixth, Jody, Cheney, and Ron Vanberger all hit home runs for a total of 6 home runs that game. Cheney pitched 9 hit. It says 9 hitless innings. Did we play 9 innings? It says 9 hitless innings for the first no-hitter this year, in parentheses, I think. He also struck out 19 batters. Wow, Jeff Cheney, I told you, this guy's a stud. Batting average 0. June 27th, we beat the Reds 8-5. I didn't do anything as usual, except I caught a fly ball. Cheney hit a home run. Batting average 0. I think I'm getting a little discouraged at this point because I didn't write very much. I'm writing less now. July 7th, we beat the Phillies 4-2. I played left field for 4 innings. I batted 8th. I popped out and struck out. Batting average 0. July 10th, I finally did it. I got a hit. It was a double. And it knocked in a run. We beat the Phillies 13-8, and I remember it was off Jimmy Morgan. I didn't write that in here, but I remember it was off of Jimmy Morgan. I came in the 5th inning. I batted 8th. My second at bat, I struck out. Batting average 500. July 24th, we beat the Cubs 15-3. I batted last, played the whole game. Only 9 guys showed up. I struck out in the second inning. Then in the third, I bunted and got on base by fielder's choice. Then I scored. Then I struck out again in the 5th. Then in the 7th, I walked and later scored. Batting average 0. July 26th, last game of the season. We became undefeated when we beat the Cubs 11-6. Only 9 guys showed up again, so I played the whole game. I batted 8th. I walked 3 times. I struck out 1 time. I stole second and went home on a passed ball. Batting average 0. So yeah, we finished 18-0. We were the undefeated Giants. I'd like to think I played some part in that. And then I made my little stat sheet. 18 games, 13 strikeouts, 5 stolen bases, 6 runs I scored, 2 errors, no home runs, no singles, 1 double, 1 triple. Oh, wait, no. That wasn't a triple. I hit a double. 1 double, 0 triples. Let's get it straight. 2 RBIs. An 0.47 batting average, ladies and gentlemen. 0.47. 21 at bats, 17 walks. Now my on base percentage might have been pretty good. I'm not even figuring that out, but 0 intentional walks. I was hit twice. So see, that's reaching base 19 times out of 21 at bats. What's my on base percentage? That's kind of good. So we were 18-0. The Dodgers, I believe, finished second. I think the Dodgers, I believe, because I did a little tally sheet. It has this Giants 18. I guess I was keeping track of the Dodgers because of my cousin, and they were 9-6 according to this, and I think they were second place, but maybe not 9-6. I'm not sure, and I don't have I didn't write down the league standings, but we came in first place. And 18-0. That was pretty awesome. So I thought I had. Yeah, here's our senior league. Yeah, here's our schedule. It's got all the our scores on it. I wrote Giants 18-0, the undefeated, first place, and so that's our schedule. And then we did. Is it here? Okay, so what? I don't know if they still have this or not, but they had what was called the High Desert Tournament. So all of this is for the senior league, and so they would have this tournament that comprised of all of the high desert teams, I guess. Let me see here. And well, let's see. So it included Hesperia. I guess each team had two teams. So there's Hesperia number 1, Apple Valley number 2, which I'm pretty sure was the Dodgers, Barstow number 1, George Air Force Base number 1, West Barstow number 2, and then here's West Barstow number 1, Hesperia number 2, Apple Valley number 1, which was us, East Barstow number 2, and George Air Force Base. So basically it was George Air Force Base, 2, well, actually like 4 Barstows, because they had Barstow 1, Barstow 2, and then East Barstow 1 and 2. So you had a bunch of Barstow teams. Hesperia, I guess Victorville was not in this for some reason. Victorville wasn't in this. And here's the little kind of flow chart. Like here's the brackets, and you can see in the top one, East Barstow number 1. They beat Hesperia, then they beat the winner of the George Air Force Base West Barstow game. I don't have that down, but Barstow made it. They were the number 1 seed. They made it to the championship round. We were the number 1 seed, and we made it to the championship round. And then we faced East Barstow number 1 in the championship game. So here's what happened there. I figured since I did the whole season, I might as well do the High Desert Tournament. So here's my baseball records for the High Desert Tournament. First game, July 28th. We beat Hesperia number 2, 13-3. It was a pretty even game until about the 6th inning. In the 7th inning, Vanberger, Cheney, and DeForest hit home runs. Those guys were studs. I came in the 6th inning. I struck out twice. Batting average 0. Then we moved on to the second game, July 30th. It says, so far, I don't know if we won because we protested And I don't know if we won yet, but anyhow, I played 5 innings and grounded out to the second baseman. I batted ninth and I played right field. For the first time in my life, a home run went over my head while I was in right field. Wow. No one had ever hit a home run when I was in right field before. But anyhow, went over my head, went over the fence. But in the 7th, we were losing 5-2. Then Mr. McGowan, that was the coach, he protested because they put in the same player in twice in the same game. Then we caught up 5-4. We played West Barstow number 1. And then we won the protest. So we would have been eliminated if we hadn't won that protest. But we won that, so we moved on to the 3rd game. We beat East Barstow number 2, 6-3. I played the whole game in right field. I batted last. I struck out twice and grounded out to the shortstop. Cheney hit another home run, batting average 0. So here's the 4th game. This is the championship game against East Barstow number 1. We lost to East Barstow. Here's a spoiler right off the top. We lost to East Barstow 6-5. I grounded out twice, walked and struck out. Cheney and Jody hit home runs. We led the game until the bottom of the 7th when they rallied and won the game. Damn it. So we lost. We were at that point, so what was that? Was 19, 20. At that point, we were 21-0 altogether. We were 21-0, and we lost in the bottom of the 7th against East Barstow number 1. Damn it. To this day, it still bugs me. So here's my baseball tournament stats. 4 games, struck out 5 times, no stolen bases, no runs scored, no errors, no hits, no RBIs, 9 at bats, 1 walk. Man, I did really bad. I did really bad in that tournament. That was pretty horrible. So that's 1975. Then I played one more year in 1976. Now, in 1976, all those studs, they aged out. McGowan, Cheney, DeForest, Van Berger. Those are the 4 main studs. But they were all good. They all aged out. So now, Josh, TJ would have hit better if someone told him to find that baseball was a bigot. So now, I was a returning player. So I came on again next year, and I became one of the leaders of the team, kind of, just because I was returning, and I still sucked. I didn't get any better, but I moved to third base. I think I played a lot of games at third base, and I was okay at third, and so we went from being this 18-0 undefeated team to being, I think we ended with a losing record. I think we finished with a losing record. So here are my baseball records for 1976. So here I am. I'm 15 and a half or 15. May 10th, I played left field for 5 innings, then played third base, batted 5th. We lost to the Phillies 6-5. I struck out 3 times and got a hit. So I started the season. The previous season, I didn't get my first hit till like halfway through the season. First game, right off the bat, I got a hit. It says I struck out 3 times, got a hit. I was thrown out going home from second on Guzman's hit. Jeff Guzman, to center in the last inning. So I was thrown out in the last inning at the plate trying to tie the game, I think. I stole second in the last inning. Batting average 250. May 13th. And these are not glory days. These are not my glory days, PDG. These are anything but. These are my embarrassing days. We scored 5 runs in the second inning, but still lost 8-6 to the Phillies. Todd Balash almost hit a home run, but it went over on one bounce for a ground rule double. I didn't come in until the 5th inning. I played third base. I walked and got to second on Guzman's base hit, batting average 0. May 14th, I played the whole game at third base, batted 8th. We played the Cubs. We won 7-3. Kenny Martin pitched. I struck out. I walked. I hit a double, knocking in a run. I made 2 errors, giving up 2 runs. So I knocked in a run, but then I gave up 2 runs with an error I made. Batting average 333. May 17th, we beat the Cubs 13-5. I played center field for 4 innings. I walked twice, batted 6th. I scored 1 run. Batting average 0. May 20th, we beat the Dodgers 11-3. Exclamation point there. I struck out twice, only played 2 innings at third. Batting average 0. May 25th, I was gone. We lost 7-6. But Guzman and Newman, Newman, hit home runs. Nice. May 26th, we rescheduled because not enough players were present. May 28th, we had to forfeit to the Cards because not enough players. So people were going on vacations or something. I don't know. May 31st, we tied the Cards 5-5. I only played 2 innings. I was hit, and that was it. I made a throwing error in left field. I batted 0. Here's a reschedule. I'm not sure the date. It says we beat the Braves 7-2 in 4 innings. We scored 6 runs in the first inning. In the 4th, the ump called the game because the other team was harassing him. And I struck out, batting average 0. So the other team was harassing the umpire, and he called the game. Apparently, I stopped putting the dates down. This is probably in June, early June. We lost to the Pirates 4-3. I played left field and batted 9th. I fouled out and walked. We had the game 2-0 in the 6th. And when they get 4 runs, mostly on errors, I stole second on a pass ball. Batting average 0. Then it says rescheduled Padres, and then it's June 10th. We beat, but okay, so I don't know what happened there. But then June 10th, we beat the Phillies 8-4. I played center field for the whole game. Batted 8th, struck out 4 times. I struck out 4 times. June 14th, we lost to the Cubs 12-8. In the 5th, we were losing 10-0. But then we got 8 runs in 1 inning. Played at second base. I grounded out and struck twice, batting average 0. June 17th, we lost to the Dodgers 13-12. I played left field.
about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? About now? Can you hear me now? All right. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now. Okay. I just got to go to that. So where did we leave off? Let's see here.
Six, Jody Cheney and Ron Vandenberger also struck out July 7th. 24th, we beat the Cubs 15-3. I batted
I'm just trying to see how far it went.
4 games. Then I'm just trying to see how far. Now, can you hear me now? Better. Someone told him to find the baseball. That baseball was a bigot. I didn't get any better for 1976. It says I struck out 3 times, got a hit. I was thrown out, but we beat this on 7-3. Kitty Moore in left field. I batted 0 on a pass ball. Batting average 0. But then we got 8 runs in 1 inning. June 17th, we lost to the Dodgers 13-12. I played left field.
All right, so anyhow, I don't need to repeat it. This is just me and being very self-indulgent here, going through my stuff, and I just thought it just fascinating. Finding this stuff that I wrote, I just think it's funny. Like, who does that? What kid does that? What kid, I don't know. I don't know of anyone who does that. I'm trying to see here.
What kid? I'm trying to see here.
Okay, we're on. Yeah, I mean, so I wrote all this down. You guys missed it, but you didn't miss much of the very last few games there. But anyhow, this is the baseball edition. And this is not me reciting my glory days. It's quite the opposite. I'm reliving my my terrible days. Yeah, I guess the mic died. Because we've been on for 3 hours and 11 minutes, and the mic, yeah, it gave its all. The mic gave its all. Just like I gave my all on the baseball diamond, as best as I could. Wasn't that great, but I still tried my best. All right, guys, I got to put all this stuff back. I got to put it away. Thanks for the 8 people who stuck with me. I appreciate you for sticking with me for that. That was a long slog. Just trying to see. We got 21st Century and Boston Brian is on, so I guess I know where everyone went off to. Okay, so today's Tuesday. We'll be back. I'll be back on Thursday. Who knows? I might drag out some more stuff. It won't be as boring as this. That's the only thing that I guess I'm going to be reading. I just thought it was kind of fascinating to see these little things I wrote. I don't know. Anyhow, guys, we'll be back Thursday at, I'll try for 9 a.m. I'm sorry for the late start. I got started really late today. I'll try to not do that. I don't like when I do that, but it happens. It happens. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hype, whatever videos you see of me. Let's get to 4,500. We were at 40. I mean, let's get to 5,000. We were at 4,500, and then one of them, somebody fell off. But we're trying to get to 5K for 5K Hennessy Day. 5K Hennessy Day. Let's get to 5K Hennessy Day, and so help us do that by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Now, you'll notice in a lot of my games, I was 0-4. Like I had a lot of offers.
which means you didn't have any hits. I was 0 for 3, over. And today on our Super Chat goal, we went 0 for 5. So pretty appropriate. It's pretty, to keep with the 0 for theme. It stands to reason. But we'll be back Thursday. You guys have a chance to rectify that offer and try to go 5 for 5. TJ, I wonder if TJ found a 20-year-old doobie. Not yet. I've not found any doobies. I doubt I will. But no doobies. Doobie doobie doo. Scooby dooby doo. Doo 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 doo. Scooby dooby doo. Doo 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 doo. Now, I really didn't mean to just ramble on for 3 hours, because I did have some other little memes that I was going to talk about, but we don't really have time. That we had this meme here, kind of went with the earlier, the whole reflecting pond fiasco, Trump, the art of the appeal. We had that. Didn't really talk too much about that, but a lot of that is in the intro, so we got that. So we had that. I'm just going to post them just since I had them on here. Now I have this one here. I will be voting against every Republican on the ballot. Who's with me? Let's see what do you call it? Raise of hands for anyone who is with me on that one. I'll be voting against every, of course, but I always vote against Republicans ever since I first started voting in 1980. Yeah, so there's that one there. And let's put Dad back on there. Dear old Dad. Picture day with Dad. Here we are. When I was like 12 years old, getting ready for baseball. My first love. All right, guys. I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much thank you for indulging me. Thank you for the 11 who are still watching. I do appreciate you. I do thank you guys so much. If I didn't, if you aren't subscribed, and if I didn't chase you away, consider subscribing if you would. There you go. That'd be great. And we are down to 20% battery, by the way. I guess I could just go ahead and plug this in. I put those totes under the bed, and now it kind of interferes with the cord. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, thank you guys very much. I do appreciate you. Oh my God, that was... I apologize, folks. That was a slog. Wasn't it? I mean, my goodness gracious. I'm embarrassed for Trucker John. What a slog he put you through. With all that reading and I got a hit, I didn't get a hit. Oh my God. From the bottom of my cookie, I apologize for that. I apologize. I mean, I am embarrassed for Trucker John. No one gives a fuck about your stupid Little League, Trucker John. My God. I've never seen such a thing. If anyone comes back on Thursday, it'll be a miracle. It'll be a freaking miracle if anyone comes back to ever watch this show again. You may have just killed the show, Trucker John. You think you're going to get to 5,000 subscribers? Not like that, my friend. Not with boring ass shit like that. Take it from old tough cookie. Yeah, it's 420. Smoke them if you got them. I'm going to need an extra bong hit after this show. That's for sure. Oh, tough cookie. Relax. It wasn't that bad. I actually found it somewhat enjoyable. Reliving the old baseball days. You know. I especially liked it when Trucker John got a hit. He must have been so happy. Little 12-year-old John or 14-year-old John, he got a hit. He hit that ball. And so it was very actually emotional for me to listen to it. So not all of us hated it. Tough cookie. Anyhow, I hope you guys didn't hate it too much. And thank you guys so much for sticking around and putting up with it. We do appreciate it. All right, thanks, Paul, the Purple Beard Guy. Thanks, Tough Cookie. Tough Cookie, keeping it real, as always. Tough Cookie, keeping it real. All right, now all we have left to do is the words of wisdom. And if there's anyone left who wants to listen to words of wisdom, and you might want to write these down, get your pad and pencil out, and write these down. Okay, you ready? You guys ready? All right, so for today's words of wisdom, first.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kick. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and down to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. I don't mourn when evil men die. I don't feel sad and I don't cry. Sometimes I wonder why it takes so long for evil men to die. But I want you to know that when you go, you won't be missed. And the ground where you're laid, we're all gonna take a big giant piss. And for your end, we all anticipate, without any love and too exhausted to hate. Your long-lasting legacy will be one of disgrace and shame. Throughout the annals of history, your name will shrink, you'll lose your fame. And as you lay there drawing in your final breath, just know that you made us happiest in death. You will not be thought of kindly, and you won't be missed. And like I said before, on the ground you'll lay, I'm gonna take a big old piss.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks.